Later that night, Diaz explains the situation. After that, we asked Senai and Ahan, why did you use the herbs without permission and give medicine to Eldon and me? In a flashback, the girls protest vehemently. We didn't take it without permission. Diaz explains, they were worried about my state and wanted to help. Their faces were filled with genuine concern. They had seen the small pouch of leaves hanging in the yurt. To them, it was a glowing beacon of hope. They knew they had to do something to help the man who had saved them. A determined look crossed their faces. Diaz recalls the moment. They asked me while I was sleeping. They whispered, can we have these leaves, can we use them? And I must have mumbled yeah, in my feverish state giving them permission. They then asked Maya and Amer for advice, and those two helped make the medicine. Aruna pieces it together. They used one leaf for you and one for Eldon. She looks at Diaz. This means they're not in the wrong. Diaz thinks to himself, they did get my permission. Aruna then turns to the girls with a serious but gentle tone. Anyways, making medicine can be dangerous. You must promise that next time I have to be present. Understood? Senai and Ahan quickly agree. Yes. With the matter settled, the day comes to a close. Is everyone ready to sleep? Diaz asks. I'm turning off the light. Aruna and the girls cheer in unison. Yes, that's fine. Under the starry night sky, Diaz lies awake. He thinks about the two girls by his side. Senai and Ahan lost their parents to an illness. They seem very cheerful now. But even now, the painful memories and feelings for their parents must still be in their hearts. By showing them my suffering state, how must they have felt? He looks at them with a gentle expression. I made you worry today, but I'm already fine. The girls look up at him, their faces full of relief and love. Thank you, he says softly. Aruna, Senai, Ahan. He pulls the girls into a warm embrace, thinking, I'm pathetic. I'm supposed to be the one protecting them. Aruna watches them holding a small Mia, but instead I'm being protected by them. But now, I feel happy knowing I have this strong bond with everyone. Diaz looks at his makeshift family, a profound sense of peace washing over him. We are a family, he thinks, and the bonds of a family cannot be broken by anything. Just then a tiny voice pipes up. Amer, are you sleeping here tonight? Diaz asks the little creature. Amer chirps happily, yes, then I'll go next to Aruna-san. Diaz smiles warmly, okay. In the dead of night, Eldon tosses and turns in his tent, his groans echoing into the darkness. The mysterious medicine he drank courses through him. Suddenly his eyes snap open. As he splashes his face with water, the morning light seems brighter, sharper. Meanwhile, Diaz is drawing water from a well, feeling an unfamiliar lightness in his body. I wonder why. I feel like I did when I was younger. Just then a frantic Kamalats rushes towards him. Diaz-sama, you won't believe it. Diaz turns, concerned. What happened, Kamalats? His aide pants, it's Eldon-sama. Kamalats finally catches his breath, a look of utter shock on his face. Eldon-sama is feeling extremely well. Diaz is completely baffled. Isn't that good? As they walk, he pieces it together. Eldon, who needs medicine just to get through the day, had leaped out of bed bursting with energy. Diaz's mind races. Yesterday's medicine, could it be the real San Giovanni? But when they arrive, they find Eldon slumped over and out of breath, being tended to by a rabbit-like doctor. Diaz and Kamalats rush forward in alarm. Eldon-sama. The doctor calls out, are you all right, Eldon? I heard you were feeling better. He explains the situation. He just got too carried away and now he's out of breath. The sickness has eased, but he's far from healed, no strenuous activity for a while. Eldon looks down sheepishly. I'm very sorry. Diaz's hopes sink. I see, then the San Giovanni was fake. The doctor adjusts his glasses, correcting him. No, from what I've heard, this herb should be the real deal. To ease his sickness in just one night, it can only be a miracle. He continues, but no matter the sickness, it takes a lot of energy for the body to suppress it. For a severe illness like his, the amount needed would be enormous. It will take some time to fully heal. Eldon, having caught his breath, stands up with a grin. It seems I made everyone worry. I apologize. I just got a little carried away, but I'm all right, no need to worry. Diaz observes him, noting his complexion is indeed better. He narrates, it's true, he looked full of energy. Since there was no problem with his health, we decided to have our conference as planned. Afterwards, I discussed some things with the villagers. With Eli perched on his head, Diaz heads to the meeting. Eli declares, if we're having a conference, then it's my turn to take the stage. A large conference tent stands ready in the middle of the plains, the stage for a crucial discussion. Inside, the table is set. Diaz and Eli arrive, taking their seats. Kamalats directs a small, rabbit-like stenographer to a specially prepared spot at the table. The stenographer gets her ink and paper ready, prepared to record the proceedings. Eldon sits opposite them, looking serious. Then, let's begin. In today's meeting, we will be discussing several subjects, including a message I received from His Majesty. He pauses, his expression turning grave, but first, Diaz braces himself. With a loud thud, Eldon slams his head onto the table in the deepest bow imaginable. I want to talk about the San Giovanni. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your Sanjivani with me. Diaz is taken aback by the sheer intensity of his gratitude. No matter how much I thank you, it's never going to be enough. Eldon's voice is thick with emotion. I know that I'm not even worthy of this miracle. But I cannot think of the right words to offer you. He rises, his face set with determination. I want to repay you adequately with money and gold. Diaz quickly cuts him off. Regarding the Sanjivani, there are some strange circumstances I have to share with you. He then recounts the story of the mysterious me. He explains the creature's warning. If you sell the Sanjivani or try to profit from it with evil thoughts, it will quickly wither. Diaz lays out his primary concern. Depending on how you look at it, if I receive a payment from you, Eldon, that could be seen as profiting from it. He flashes back to a meeting with his own villagers. We've already used the herbs and only have the seeds left. I want to avoid anything that would cause those seeds to wither. In the village yurt, the elders had gathered. Diaz had confessed his fears to them. Now that we know the power of the Sanjivani, I don't think any of us adults can use it without harboring some kind of selfish thought. Granny Maya offered her wisdom. I think the reason the sprouts haven't withered yet is because the ones who used it were the children, Sanai and Ahan. Aruna had agreed. I'm sure those two weren't thinking of getting anything in exchange, they just acted out of pure goodwill. Diaz had come to a conclusion. They will use the Sanjivani in the correct way, wouldn't it be better to just let those two handle it? Back in the present, Diaz relays their decision to Eldon. We don't even know what could cause them to wither, so we came to the conclusion that it's better to lower our expectations and treat it as if it never existed. Eli, sipping her tea, adds, it could come in handy if something happens, but... The stenographer chimes in, summarizing the point. We are not going to get involved and leave everything to Sanai and Ahan, before adding, this tea is delicious. Diaz looks Eldon in the eye. That's how it is, Eldon, so everything related to the Sanjivani, please forget about it. There will be no record of compensation, and we will not speak of this subject in the future. He explains the grim reality. If word of the Sanjivani spread, human greed would bring nothing but trouble. We must keep this a secret by any means necessary. Eldon sits in silence, absorbing the weight of Diaz's words. He crosses his arms, deep in thought. Finally, he poses a difficult question. What if there was a sick person on the verge of death somewhere, and you might be able to save his life with the Sanjivani? Would your decision change? Diaz doesn't hesitate, it wouldn't. He explains his reasoning. Even if we have the Sanjivani, it's impossible to save every life. That's too much weight for one person to bear. That's why we're entrusting everything to those girls' pure hearts. We have to believe in fate. We were blessed with the Sanjivani and the fact that Sanai and Ahan were the ones to find it. That must be fate as well. If there is someone who is destined to be saved by it, he will find his way here and meet Sanai and Ahan. And if, by some chance, those two were to hold malice in their hearts and the Sanjivani were to wither, we will think of that as fate and accept it. Eldon listens, his expression softening. Eli nods in quiet agreement. The heavy discussion proves too much for the stenographer, who lets out a tiny yawn. A small smile plays on Eldon's lips. He's made up his mind. I understand, we will follow your decision. He turns to his attendant. Kamalats, tell everyone to keep this secret, immediately. I am on my way, Kamalats replies, bowing. Kamalats hurries off to carry out his lord's orders. With the matter settled, Diaz is ready to move on. Then let's get back to business. Eldon clears his throat, shifting the tone. I will forget what we just talked about, so let's start our conference. We have to discuss some new rights, including the message entrusted to me by His Majesty, your new peerage as a duke, and the right to change your family name. Diaz freezes, the words hitting him like a physical blow. Duke, me. His mind reels. Wait, I'll even have a family name. I can't believe I'm becoming a noble. Eldon stares, completely confused by Diaz's shock. Huh. Eli is equally perplexed. Huh. Even the stenographer looks up, bewildered. Huh. Eldon tries to clarify. Diaz don't know. You see, you already have a family name. Your family name should be recorded as a noble family of the Sans Serif Kingdom. But Diaz just waves it off, completely oblivious. No, I'm just a commoner, there's no way I have a family name. Eli patiently explains the facts of life to her clueless father. Father, no matter what the circumstances were, if you were given land, you were already made a noble, so of course, you would have a family name. Diaz is completely lost, but I hadn't heard anything about my family name. Is that how it works? Eldon, ever the calm observer, clarifies the situation. It's a fact that Diaz never called himself Netros. I just assumed he had his reasons, but to think he himself was unaware of it, that is unexpected. The name suddenly clicks in Diaz's mind. Netros. A memory flashes and it all comes rushing back. That's right, I remember now, he recalls the condescending official who exiled him. The plane is called Netros. You are Diaz Netros. Diaz points in realization. Now that you mention it, that official did say something like that. The rabbit stenographer looks at him with utter disbelief. Diaz-sama, what do you think a family name is? Diaz sweats, trying to explain himself. No, well at the time I wasn't paying attention. I had too much on my plate from being thrown to the grasslands all of a sudden. Eldon waves it off, understanding the pressure Diaz was under. Well, that's true, it can't be helped under those circumstances. He leans forward, getting back to the main point. That's why I will be sharing His Majesty's words with you. We want you to be fully aware of your status as a noble. Eldon begins to recite a long, flowery royal decree, but Eli quickly interrupts. Wouldn't it be easier to just read it? The stenographer chimes in. Diaz-san should read it all, leaving Diaz utterly confused. Deciding to cut through the royal fluff, Eldon summarizes the important part. So that's why Diaz-sama has been granted the title of Duke, the right to change his family name and 3 years exemption from taxes, by His Majesty. He presents a sealed envelope and a formal box. This is the document with His Majesty's declaration and the details of the reparations, and this is the seal for your rank as Duke. Diaz casually accepts the items. For now, just put that somewhere safe. But Eli narrows her eyes, sensing a political play. But for His Majesty to ever give father the rank of Duke, I feel there is more to this. Eldon reveals the truth. His Majesty is now in a very delicate position due to his wartime blunders and the struggle for succession. After the throne is claimed and he has abdicated, we don't know if there will be anyone to protect him. That is why if he was able to ally with the Duke Diaz-dono and me, he might be able to go into hiding and live peacefully for the rest of his life. And also, Eldon adds, he considered what Mazedono and Diane did and wanted to give you a peerage that would let you speak to nobles, I think. The stenographer sweats, wondering if this top-secret political maneuvering should be on the official record. Should I record this conversation as well? Eli smoothly transitions to the next topic. Regarding the funds that Diaz-dono was supposed to receive, it will take some time to prepare them, so I've been asked to finance the funds. Diaz's memory is jogged. Funds. If I remember correctly, I was supposed to receive some funds and personnel before coming to the grasslands. Eldon cheerfully adds, I've also been told that the money spent on the matter shall be taken as public debt, so feel free to charge interest. But Diaz immediately shuts it down. No, I don't need the funds or the people. I'm already indebted to His Majesty and Eldon. So please tell His Majesty not to worry about me. Eldon, intrigued by this refusal, leans back. I don't mind, but I want to hear your reasoning. Diaz leans back as well, speaking from the heart. Well, how should I put it? I never really cared about it. It's the opposite. I'm grateful that I was left penniless over here. He explains, thinking of Aruna. If I came here with the kingdom's money, funds, and personnel, I'm sure I wouldn't have met her. If it wasn't for my bond with her, Iluk village wouldn't have been born, and I couldn't have formed this kind of relationship with Eldon either. I like the village we built together, and I like everyone who lives here. A vision of his entire village, his family, fills his mind. That's why I want to keep building this village and to protect it, with everyone. Eldon listens, a warm smile on his face, moved by Diaz's conviction. Eli adds her own thoughts. You might be thinking it's weird for me to say this after all the trouble I've caused you. Kamalatz finishes the sentiment, but I really think this is something we should do ourselves. Diaz nods, finalizing his stance. So yeah, from now on, as the Lord, I will do something about the money and people myself. Miles away, while brushing a miah, Aruna suddenly blushes, sensing a powerful wave of her husband's manliness. The kids beside her are just confused. What happened? Back in the tent, Eldon smiles. I understood your feelings, Diaz-dono. But you're misunderstanding 2 facts, so let me correct them. First, my relationship with you. It's not like I was just one-sidedly supporting you. I was given a lot of Earth Dragon materials, and there were other ways in which I benefited. He pats his stomach, clearly satisfied with their arrangement. Diaz immediately understands. Maybe he is referring to the Sanjivani. Eldon holds up 2 fingers, and second about the public debt problem. He breaks it down simply. Public debt is a loan to the government. The more money you loan, the higher your noble status, giving you more political power. The money used to support you is also counted as public debt, which gives me more power, so there are no losses. And if an ally of His Majesty gains more power, it benefits him as well. In addition, this debt doesn't require repayment. His Majesty won't make any monetary losses at all. There's no need to pay it back. Eldon spreads his arms wide. But that's how it is, Diaz-dono, you should not hold back. Diaz strokes his chin, reconsidering everything. I considered refusing it if it was just a one-sided gift, but was I overthinking it? Suddenly, an idea strikes Eli like a bolt of lightning. She slams her hand on the table, startling everyone. I have a great idea to fulfill both wishes, my father's desire to build this village on our own, and Lord Kazdex's desire to support us. Her eyes burn with intensity as she declares, a road. Diaz looks intrigued. Road. Eli explains the logic. We cannot say that the roads leading to Iluk village are suitable for carriages. Wasn't it very difficult for Lord Kazdex's big carriage to get here? So let's connect the nearest city in Kazdex to the village of Iluk. I propose we build a big road, cut it, open it, set it. She lays out the genius of the plan. The road construction will cost a lot of money, so the public debt issue is solved as well, and if it's just building a road, it doesn't go against father's ideals. The funding and labor can be handled by us. What do you think? Eldon is instantly sold. That's right, it's an awesome idea, and of course, once the road is built, the physical distribution of goods will naturally follow, and it will be easier for me to come play here. The two immediately start brainstorming logistics. Please build a rest area with a water well. We'll need a security checkpoint too. Diaz can only chuckle at their enthusiasm. The stenographer smiles at him. It seems the conversation has gotten away from us, hasn't it? But you were very cool back there. The unexpected compliment makes Diaz blush. Fired up, Eldon and Eli decide to act immediately. Let's go see the place right away. Very well, let's get going. In a flash, they're gone, leaving Diaz alone at the table. Oh, it seems I missed them. I even brought some tea. He turns to Kamalats, who remained behind. Oh, that's right. In the letter it said that you hired Juha. Isn't he too much trouble? Kamalats pours some tea. Oh, not at all. He is a very talented person. Everyone is receiving good advice and motivation from him. I agree that he is talented, but he is no good in many ways, he admits. But we have concluded that Juha's knowledge is worthwhile. In particular, the fact that he hates war and tries to avoid it by all means is something wonderful. Diaz takes a sip of his tea, still skeptical. The self-proclaimed #1 military strategist in the kingdom is your old companion, the stenographer asks. How can a military strategist hate war? Kamalats explains Juha's philosophy. Juha said, war is the most inefficient course of action which only produces loss. We lose materials, money, and above all, lives. If we continue, the world of man will decline and be subjugated by monsters. He believed the best strategy is to avoid war through diplomacy, investing in culture and economy instead. But the stupid royals, as he called them, would never understand. So because he insisted too heavily on early peace, he was criticized as incompetent and ended up quitting. Diaz then remembers the other piece of business. Oh, by the way, regarding the new family name. Kamalats hands him the sealed envelope. Please note your name and new family name in the letter inside and send it within 1 month. Ah, this one. The reality of the task sinks in and Diaz begins to sweat. The new family name, do I have to think of one? The stenographer gives him a deadpan look. Isn't it obvious? You received the right to change your family name. Of course, Aruna-san, Senai-chan and the rest will be using the same family name. Diaz's mind goes blank with panic. What, did you say? It's going to pass from generation to generation. A suitable name that also has meaning. There is no way I can think of something. And just like that, the wave of manliness Aruna felt vanishes completely. She frowns. What am I gonna do? Diaz's manliness disappeared. I will have a word with him. Diaz, now a nobleman, is paralyzed by a single monumental task, choosing a family name. He knows it's not just for him, but for the entire territory he now governs. His mind races with terrible ideas. What if I just called it Yurt, he imagines. I'm Diaz Yurt, these are the Yurt grasslands, this is the Yurt territory. The thought is immediately ridiculous. He shakes off the silly thought, remembering the gravity of the situation. A family name is earned, not just picked. It has to be something that can be passed down with pride for generations. He stares out at the yurts dotting the landscape, the simple homes of his people, feeling the weight of his new responsibility. Slumped over a table, Diaz groans in frustration. I'm doomed. I can't think of anything. I have no choice. I'll have to ask someone for help. Just then, the flap of his tent creaks open. Uncle Ben steps inside, his presence immediately filling the tent. Hey, I'm coming in. Diaz looks up surprised. Mr. Uncle Ben. He starts to ask what has brought you here, but Uncle Ben cuts him off sharply. Stop talking like that. Ben gets straight to the point, his eyes serious. The new family name, I thought of one. Diaz is stunned. Ben continues, I already consulted with Aruna, Senai and Ahan about it. You should not have any complaints. As Ben prepares a quill and ink, Diaz panics. Please wait a moment, he pleads. Before you write it down, at least tell me what kind of name it is, please. Uncle Ben sighs, exasperated. My God, I already told you to stop using such formal speech with me. You're an adult and a duke now. Stop being so formal. Diaz flinches, taken aback by the stern lecture. Ignoring his plea, Uncle Ben dips the quill and begins to write with a steady hand. He slides the paper across the table. On it, a single name. Mere Battle, Ben announces. This is a suitable name for you and this land. Diaz stares at the characters, sounding it out. Mere Battle, mere is a reference to the Mia, right? And what does battle mean? Ben explains, recalling his conversation with Aruna. According to Aruna, it's an old word meaning brave warrior or hero. He elaborates, so Mere Battle means warrior protector of the Mere, or the hero who received the Mia's divine protection. A faint smile touches Ben's lips. Diaz Mere Battle, it sounds good, doesn't it? Diaz has to admit it. Well, it actually does, but how did you come up with it? Ben's expression turns serious again. More important than the family name is the name of this land. We have to consider the people who live with us. The Oni. If we are to keep a friendly and harmonious relationship with them, the name must be right. I already got Aruna's approval. If we name this land Warrior Protector of the Mia, I'm sure they will accept it. He leans in, his voice low. I think it sounds way better than being called unnecessary, based on the land's old name. The word Netros hangs in the air, a reminder of the land's painful past, and Diaz listens intently. We also need to consider the future of this territory. A sly glint appears in Ben's eye. And if you're planning on selling Mia fabric, why not use the family name for branding? The Mia fabric sold by Duke Mir Battle from the Mir Battle territory. Simple and effective, don't you think? Diaz narrows his eyes, sensing there's more to this. Uncle Ben, you have something else in mind, don't you? Ben chuckles. I remember that scheming face of yours. Of course you realized. It's not a secret plan, he clarifies, just something I'm thinking about for the distant future. He reveals his true ambition. When the time comes, I'm thinking of building a magnificent temple, and I would be grateful if, by then, you are using this family name. Diaz listens, his expression unreadable. He thinks back on everything Uncle Ben does for the village, his wisdom and guidance. Ben's sermons and parables were always well received. Diaz knew he'd eventually want a proper place for his activities, like a temple. Diaz nods slowly. I don't have a problem with that. Ben's eyes light up. Isn't it obvious? We are going to worship the Mia in this temple. That San Giovanni was a gift from the gods, right? But what does that have to do with the family name? Diaz asks, still connecting the dots. The San Giovanni came from a Mia that speaks our language, Ben exclaims. That means the Mia are messengers of the gods. He brings his point home. A temple that worships God's messengers in the very land where they live is only natural, and the lord of that land should have a name that honors them. Ben's tone softens as he composes himself. Anyways, we still have time to decide on that. He turns to leave, pausing at the entrance. For now, I'll just keep helping the people here, for them, and for the sake of your parents. Become a splendid lord deserving of this name, he says, leaving Diaz with his words. Diaz looks down at the paper, a new resolve in his eyes. He traces the name with his finger. Mere battle, he thinks. Aside from the temple idea, the meaning and concept are perfect. With the decision made, the village immediately begins preparing for a celebration. The dog folk work diligently, setting up tables for the feast. I'm putting it down, one calls out. Where are the seats for Diaz-sama and Eldon-sama? As preparations continue, Aruna finds Diaz. Did you finish the paperwork for the family name? She asks. Yeah, Diaz replies. I just gave it to Eldon, he'll deliver it to the king. Aruna smiles. Tonight we celebrate your new name and pedigree, and since Eldon is here, we're going to make it a big one. She considers the name. So, Mere Battle, we only don't use family names, so I don't really get it, but it sounds like a good name for this land. Diaz explains, we do have something similar, a paternal name, but it's a little different. It's easier to show you, he says, turning and calling out, Senai Ahan. The two girls look up from their seats. They run over to Diaz and Aruna, hand in hand. What, they ask in unison. Aruna leans down with a smile. What's your paternal name? The girls beam with pride. They strike a pose and shout, I'm Diaz's daughter Ahan, and I'm Diaz's daughter Senai. Aruna pats their heads. Good, you two were amazing, the girls cheer. We did it, yes we did it. She explains to Diaz, a phrase that names your father is your paternal name. Sometimes it's a husband, wife, or even an important grandparent. Diaz nods. Oh, I see. By the way, about the family name, it seems I get to choose who can use it. Aruna's expression becomes serious. It's a formal acknowledgement that they are heirs to the household. If the kids use it, they'll have to behave as nobles. Diaz smiles wryly. So whether they want to use it or not is really up to them. A mischievous look crosses Aruna's face. So that means if I want to use it, I can make myself a noble, and Senai, Ahan, and Eli would be the heirs. Diaz is completely flustered by her forwardness. He quickly backpedals. Well, of course, I don't mind. It's up to you guys, but behaving like a nobleman is a very difficult thing. I'm not sure we should impose that on the kids. Aruna winks. Tomorrow, Eldon is going to teach me all about it. You should come too. You'll see just how annoying it is. As night falls, the celebration begins. A massive bonfire crackles, casting a warm glow over the entire village. Music fills the air as everyone gathers to dance and celebrate their new lord's name. Senai and Ahan laugh joyfully, holding hands with the dog folk as they dance around the fire, a perfect picture of the harmony Diaz hopes to build in his new territory. The celebration is in full swing around the bonfire. Eldon, beaming with health, turns to Diaz. I'm having a very good time. Diaz smiles warmly, replying, I'm glad to hear that. Nearby, Senai and Ahan dance joyfully, their voices joining the music of the festival. From their perspective, they keep glancing over at the main table where the adults are seated. Eldon notices their frequent looks. He thinks to himself, over there, Senai and Ahan seem to be checking on me from time to time. Is there something drawing their attention? Diaz leans in and explains quietly, I think it's because they're very happy that you're feeling better. Those two lost their parents to an illness, so I'm sure they're somewhat worried about things like that. He continues, for them to be able to help you recover from your sickness, it must make them very happy. Eldon watches the girls dance, a gentle and understanding smile spreading across his face. I see, then I can understand those smiles. His gaze drifts to the dog folk, who are celebrating with just as much energy and joy. He remarks, I'm also surprised that the dog folk are being so serious about work, and I'm even more astonished that they're being so nice to other races. Aruna, overhearing him, adds, you're talking about what you mentioned before, huh? Maybe this was a good environment for them. I'm actually indebted to them. I'm grateful to have them. Eldon looks down, humbled. This just makes me realize how mistaken I was. I still have so much more to learn. He looks out at the diverse community gathered around the fire. I'm grateful for my relationship with Diaz Dono. Even if you hadn't shared the Sanjivani with me, just witnessing this scene, I'm sure I would have felt overjoyed. Suddenly, Eldon pushes himself to his feet, drawing everyone's attention. He addresses the entire gathering. Diaz Dono and everyone, you have opened new possibilities for me for my future. I cannot repay you with goods or gold, so please let me express myself with words. His voice grows heavy with emotion. Until now, I've held this wish of getting rid of discrimination and war, but deep down I always knew with my short lifespan I would never be able to accomplish it. I felt like giving up. But his tone shifts, filled with newfound hope. But it's going to be different from now on, what I've seen here. This scenery of different races becoming one and laughing together, I need to work even harder to expand this. He turns and looks directly at Diaz, his voice ringing with conviction. So, I want to say once more to Diaz Dono, no, Duke Mir Battle, please lend me your strength. Diaz meets his gaze, his own face set with determination. Eldon, I will give my all to live up to your expectations. Aruna watches them, a proud and gentle smile on her face. Nearby, Eldon's attendant is so moved by his master's speech that he's brought to tears. And Senai and Ahan are simply beaming, their faces alight with pure happiness. The night's heartfelt promises linger in the air as the fire burns down. The next day it's back to business. Diaz continues his lessons on the duties of a nobleman. This time Aruna joins him. I need to learn too, she says, ready to support Diaz in his new role. Eldon stands before them, ready to begin. Then let's get started. He starts with a history lesson. The one who came up with the idea of an aristocracy of nobles and commoners was the founding king. He illustrates the hierarchy, a pyramid with baron at the bottom and duke at the top, designed to manage the vast territory through a system of competitive growth. Eldon emphasizes the peak of the pyramid. The highest-ranked duke is given various privileges to prevent any rebellion against the royal family. He leans in, his expression serious. And the privilege that I find most important is discretionary power over territories. He explains that a duke can buy and sell land freely or even develop uninhabited land and claim it as their own. The power is immense. As an example, he mentions his own family. The reason why my territory, Kazdex, is so big now is because my father Enkaz used his financial resources to buy out neighboring territories. Diaz's head spins as Eldon lists the possibilities: expanding territory, paying taxes by selling land, stabilizing business. It's a lot to take in. Then Eldon's lesson takes a practical turn. So Diaz Dono, I want you to start putting it into practice. He dramatically unrolls a large map of the region. Pointing to a large forest on the border between their lands, he makes a proposal. This forest is situated at the boundary of my territory. I want to sell half of it to you. I want you to disclose a price you find suitable and negotiate with me. Diaz is stunned. Eldon, don't tell me that's. He assumes it's a gift, a way to repay him for the Sanjivani. But Eldon shakes his head. This has nothing to do with that. Even I wouldn't give you part of my land as a simple gesture of gratitude. He glances at Aruna, and we think this is something you guys need. Eldon poses a critical question. Diaz Dono, where do you think all the wood used to build your houses and daily necessities comes from? He lets the reality sink in. All the wood in your yurts were given to you by Aruna and the Oni folk. He then turns his gaze to Aruna. Then Aruna-san, please tell me, where did all that wood come from to begin with? Diaz's eyes widen in horror as he connects the dots, looking from the map to Aruna. Don't tell me. Caught, Aruna flinches and whips around, completely embarrassed. She quickly tries to explain. Of course, wood is something necessary, so if you asked for it, I would sell as much as you need. Eldon finishes the thought for her. But instead of doing the required paperwork every time, it's easier to just sell you the land with the appropriate compensation. Aruna turns back to Diaz, looking apologetic. I want to clear this up now to avoid future complications. I'm sorry for not saying anything. Diaz just waves it off. It's fine, it's fine. Diaz sighs, feeling out of his depth. I understand that we need to buy that forest, but it's kinda hard. I have no idea about the price of land. Eldon nods. That's the hard part about being a duke. You have to think about negotiating prices and making payment arrangements. It's imperative to reconcile both parties' interests. He challenges Diaz. I want you to think thoroughly about this. Diaz is at a complete loss. After a moment, he scratches his head and makes an offer. The only thing we can offer right now is whatever cash we have left. And materials from 2.5 wind dragons. Would that be enough? Eldon is floored. Again, Diaz don't know, more dragon materials and 2.5 of them. No, if you think about its rarity, it might be more valuable than the land. This is more than enough, but... He explodes with exasperation. That's like, it's so not fair. Diaz narrates the aftermath. And after that, Eldon asked me to try and negotiate the price with him for practice, so I did, but... It was too much for me to handle, and we gave up. We came to the conclusion that it would be better to leave all business negotiations to Eli. And so, in the end, it was Eli who calmly settled the price for the forest at 2.5 wind dragon materials. 3 days later. After finishing all the public affairs, negotiations, and lessons, Eldon prepared to head back home. As they wave him off, Diaz watches his friend depart. Aruna turns to Diaz, still feeling guilty. Diaz, regarding the wood, I'm sorry I never said anything. She looks up at him worriedly. Are you angry? Diaz gives her a reassuring smile. I'm not angry. I understand the Oni folks' circumstances, and if Eldon isn't upset, I have no right to blame you. Aruna looks relieved as he continues. He stands tall, looking out over his new territory with a newfound sense of duty. Besides, I am the Lord. From now on, I will solve all this land's problems, the right way. Aruna looks at him, her eyes filled with admiration for the leader he's becoming. Diaz thought that with Eldon's departure, the village would return to its peaceful and quiet days, or so he thought. Suddenly Senai and Ahan burst in, chanting loudly. I want a go walnut picking, gathering mushrooms, I want a go play in the forest. As the girls continue their relentless demand, Diaz can only sweat, realizing the path of a new duke is paved with endless, unexpected challenges. Oh my. In the lands of the Oni, winter is a harsh mistress and survival depends on preparation. As the sun dapples through the Iluk forest, the hunt for food and materials begins. The rules of this preparation are ancient and sacred. Begin only when the migratory birds appear, never hunt the females, and respect the territories of other families. For Aruna, the sight of a lone figure against the vast plains is a familiar one. And as she looks to the sky, she sees the sign, a flock of birds heading south. Autumn has officially begun. Back at the yurt, Diaz is in a tough spot. Senai and Ahan are practically vibrating with excitement, chanting, I wanna go, I wanna go, I wanna go to the forest. Diaz sighs, oh dear, maybe I shouldn't have brought this topic up so early. He tries to reason with them, explaining, we still haven't finished all the paperwork regarding the ownership of the forest, so can you wait a little bit longer? But the twins just look at him, confused. What is ownership? Diaz understands their eagerness. He knows Senai and Ahan grew up deep in the forest with their parents. They desperately want to go, he thinks, and it's so unusual for them to be this vocal. I really want to take them, but... Suddenly, the flap of the yurt is thrown open with a loud thud. Aruna bursts in, baskets in hand and a triumphant grin on her face. Don't worry, everyone, I already got permission from Eldon to enter the edge of the forest. It's already autumn. There's no time to wait for any paperwork. She beams, autumn is harvest and winter preparation season. We'll be so busy, I'll even want to ask the Mia for help. She gives one of the fluffy sheep a grateful pat, adding with a laugh, thank you, it's just a figure of speech. Aruna turns to the twins, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She declares, starting tomorrow, you two will be going to the forest almost every day, so prepare yourselves. The girls' faces instantly light up with pure joy. They erupt in cheers. We can go to the forest, walnut picking, mushroom hunting every day, every day. Diaz looks on, a bit overwhelmed. Is autumn in the grasslands that busy? He asks. Aruna smiles, nodding. Of course, summer, the season where we can relax, is over. From now on, in order to stock provisions, the season for workers begins. And so the family heads out. Standing at the edge of the vast woods, Aruna begins her lecture. Listen, everyone, the forest might be rich in food and provisions, but it's also rich in poisons. There's poisonous berries, mushrooms, plants, bugs, and even poisonous monsters. That's why you must be careful with every step you take and learn all the... But her words trail off as Senai and Ahan, completely ignoring her, bolt into the trees with a happy cry, forest, it's the forest. They casually point out a dangerous plant. Oh, a poisonous plant. It's okay if we don't touch it. Diaz chuckles, those two can just walk through the forest like it's their home. Aruna watches them, thinking, I see, there is no need for me to teach them anything, or so I thought. Moments later, it's Diaz who calls out, oh, here are some edible mushrooms, Aruna. Let's pick these ones up. Aruna looks at him genuinely surprised. Diaz, you are also very used to this. He skillfully slices one, explaining, is that so? Well, in the eastern part of the kingdom there are a lot of forests. When I was an orphan and during the war I used to collect food from the forest to survive. Gathering food from the forest is a job that requires knowledge, you can't just assign it to anyone. Luckily Senai and Ahan are more than happy with the task, singing a little tune as they walk. The jealous and the lonely king of leaves is always. Meanwhile, back at the village, Uncle Ben is using his priestly knowledge to care for the pregnant Francois and the other dog folk, ensuring everyone is safe while the family is away. Back in the woods, Aruna is still eyeing the mushrooms Diaz found. Is that mushroom edible? Diaz just smiles. I only grab the ones I'm sure are safe, so don't worry about that one. She stares at the mushrooms on a nearby tree. I'm actually surprised you're thinking about eating those. I had no idea there were non-poisonous ones. Diaz points out, now that you mention it, you've never added mushrooms to your food. They're good grilled, boiled, and you can dry them for preservation. They're very convenient. Aruna squints, focusing her power. Is she using soul appraisal? Is it that hard to believe there are edible mushrooms? Her eyes widen slightly. He was telling the truth. She believed it, she thinks, a little stunned. Diaz then points to another mushroom. Ah, those ones are poisonous. He shows her the difference. They look similar, but these ones with the puffy umbrellas are the edible ones. Try to remember. Aruna just grumbles in response. She thinks to herself, actually, I wanted to be the one teaching them. I never thought the day I would learn something from Diaz would come. But as Diaz spots another patch and calls out, oh, there is more over there, her frustration begins to change. No, she reconsiders, watching him work. Being reliable is a good thing, he's even more charming. Just then the girls cry out in excitement, ah. They've spotted a perfect walnut tree and rush over to it. They immediately get to work, gathering the nuts that have fallen to the ground. One of them cracks a nut open with a tool, checking its quality. Satisfied, they begin filling their baskets with the fresh walnuts. Aruna watches them, a look of pride on her face. Oh. She explains to Diaz, Senai and Ahan already understand the rules of winter preparation. Instead of gathering all of them, they just grabbed around 1/3 of the fallen walnuts. Diaz catches on, you mean rules like overharvesting is prohibited. Aruna nods, explaining the grim chain reaction. Yeah, taking too much will hinder new growth. It would also starve the beasts, and if they die of hunger, we starve too. They're also careful not to grab the moldy old ones, she adds. We follow the rules and return the forest waste to the forest itself. Diaz, digging for roots, asks, by the way, how much should we collect? I want to know where to draw the line. Aruna explains, today we just came to scout and learn the rules. We'll need multiple trips with a wagon to gather firewood and everything else. I also want to hunt some older male beasts to make jerky. Older male beasts? Diaz asks, intrigued. I heard about not hunting females, but was there that rule as well? Aruna clarifies, there's a rule to not hunt males during mating season, but hunting old ones is something I came up with myself. If we're just going to dry it, the taste doesn't change much. Using young, delicious meat for dried food sounds like a waste, doesn't it? Diaz considers this. I see. In that case we should be careful with beast tracks. We could use ground matabi, but no, that would attract both males and females. He stands, looking confident. Well, this forest is abundant. If we work hard enough, we might be able to capture as much as that black buffalo I got last time. Aruna's face lights up with pure admiration. Yes, I'm very happy to see how manly you are. She looks at him with genuine affection. Winter in the grasslands is very difficult, you know, she says seriously. It's a very harsh season. If the head of the house isn't manly enough, we'll lose rations and people, one after another. She shudders, remembering past hardships. There were times I saw we didn't have enough rations left. I couldn't even sleep at night. Her expression softens as she looks at Diaz. A warm blush spreads across her face. But it seems this winter I won't have to worry about that. I can't even tell you how long it's been since I've had this much fun while making preparations. I'm very lucky to be blessed with such a wonderful husband. Diaz listens, his expression serious. He's deeply moved by her words, but also feels the immense weight of her trust. He thinks to himself, we just started our winter preparations, and I still have no idea if we are going to be able to gather enough provisions. He sets his jaw with determination. I have to be very careful, he vows internally, to not betray her expectations. As they continue their work, the forest canopy rustles above them. The girls are happily sorting their haul by a tree. Suddenly, Diaz loses his footing with a grunt, tumbling into a hidden hole in the ground. Aruna rushes over to see what happened. At the bottom of the hole, Diaz's axe rests beside his discovery. He pulls out a handful of wild potatoes, wondering aloud, should I leave some of these? Before he can decide, Senai and Ahan come running over. Diaz, did you get the potatoes? Show me, show me. After digging up some wild potatoes, Senai and Ahan give them a thorough inspection. They bring the potatoes close, sniffing them carefully. Diaz watches them, a bit confused by their ritual. He asks, can you tell if it tastes good or bad by the smell? The girls look up and explain in unison, not the taste but the power, if it has the power to reproduce or not. They then sort the potatoes into 2 piles. We eat the weak ones, we bury the strong ones so we can eat them next year. Diaz is stunned by their wisdom. That's surprising. Are you going to plant them in those holes? Wouldn't it be okay to just bury them back where they were? Senai and Ahan shake their heads. We do bury them there, but we also bury them here, we distribute them in a lot of places. They explain their farming logic. We get more potatoes like this, and they get stronger. Like trees, they get thin if they are together. Distributing them makes them stronger. Both Aruna and Diaz look on, impressed by the depth of their knowledge. The family works together, following the girls' instructions to replant the stronger potatoes. They carefully place one of the strong potatoes back into the earth, ensuring a future harvest. Aruna pulls the girls into a proud hug, with Diaz smiling warmly at his brilliant daughters. Later, while taking a break, Diaz recalls their earlier comment. You were saying something about the trees as well, he says. If you have fewer trees in the same place, do they grow better? The girls sit attentively, ready for their next lesson. They ponder his question for a moment before answering. Looking up at the canopy, they explain, too little is no good, but too much is no good either. A moderate amount is good, so the sunlight can pass through the branches a little bit. Diaz looks around at a particularly dense patch of the forest. If that's the case, then aren't there too many trees in this area? It's a little dark. The girls agree immediately. Yes, healthy trees and medicinal plants won't grow like this, it will become a barren forest. Diaz nods, processing the information. There will be a lot of mushrooms, but that's not good either. He gets an idea. If that's the case, then the next time I come to get some wood, I can also cut some random trees over here. The girls instantly fly into a panic, shouting, don't do it randomly. Choose the weak ones or the ones that are in the way. Diaz is taken aback by their fierce reaction as they continue to lecture him. Are there trees that are okay and not okay to cut? Yes. He can't help but laugh, realizing his mistake. Ha ha ha, inside the forest, Senai and Ahan are the teachers. It should be fine if I let them teach me. The little teachers have made their point. In this domain their word is law. Diaz pats their heads, praising them for their knowledge, and the girls beam with happiness. We got praised. Aruna smiles, getting everyone back on track. Okay, then let's gather some more stuff for today. But as they continue, Aruna spots something strange out of the corner of her eye, a large, pulsating mushroom. She stops, a sense of unease creeping in. Was this mushroom here before? It seems harmless, but her instincts are screaming. Suddenly the mushroom spins to life, revealing a monstrous face. Aruna gasps in shock, oh no. Before she can react, the creature lunges, slamming into her with incredible force. This thing is. Diaz whips around at the sound of the impact. Wahhhhh. His face contorts in pure panic. He screams her name as he sees her lying motionless on the ground. Aruna. The monster, a magical mushroom with legs and a face, turns its attention to them, preparing to release a cloud of gas. Senai and Ahan shout a desperate warning. Dias, it's a magical mushroom. You shouldn't breathe that gas, but it's too late. The monster unleashes its poisonous attack. Diaz doesn't hesitate for a second. He charges straight through the toxic cloud, his body glowing with power. With a single mighty swing of his weapon, he unleashes a wave of energy. That completely obliterates the mushroom monster and its kin. The threat is neutralized in an instant. The forest floor is cleared by the sheer force of his attack. He rushes to Aruna's side, shaking her gently. Aruna, are you okay? She groans, slowly coming to. Seeing that she's not physically injured, Diaz turns to the girls, relieved. That's good. What was that monster? They explain that monster is called a magical mushroom. It has legs, so it moves around. It breathes poisonous gases. Diaz's relief vanishes. Poisonous. The girls calmly reassure him. Don't worry, she will be fine soon. It might be troublesome for now, though. Just then, Aruna begins to stir. Her eyes slowly flutter open. Her vision is blurry, but she makes out Diaz's face. Diaz. But as her eyes focus, the image shifts. No. The poison gas has triggered a powerful hallucination. In her mind, she's a princess in a fairy tale land, and Diaz is her dashing Prince Charming. My prince. Back in reality, Diaz is just confused. Aruna. Before he can finish his sentence, she grabs him. What are you? She tackles him to the ground, her eyes sparkling. How manly you are, Diaz. That manliness is just overflowing from you. The girls casually explain the side effects from a safe distance. As Aruna smothers him, Diaz desperately tries to snap her out of it. Aruna, please get a grip, I'm not royalty. While Diaz is otherwise occupied, Senai and Ahan sit down and begin to sing a hauntingly beautiful song. The jealous and lonely king of leaves is always guarding the forest. Their voices drift through the trees. If the forest gets lost, he will call the sand. As they sing, Diaz continues to struggle with his adoring, hallucinating wife. Treat it well and wisely, let's not call the wrath of the King of Leaves. Deep within the forest, a mysterious entity stirs, its attention caught by the ancient melody. This song. Oh, how nostalgic. I would never imagine someone who can sing this song still exists in this era. The presence senses the girl's unique magic. They don't seem to be one of mine, but this magic power, let's see, whose magic was this again? Deciding it's too busy to investigate now, the figure retreats into the darkness. Well, I'll think about it later. I might be able to listen to that song again next spring. I will remember eventually. Back at their yurt, Aruna has thankfully returned to her senses. Surrounded by baskets full of their harvest, Diaz sighs in relief, unaware of the ancient power they just awakened. At the dinner table, Diaz eyes a skewer of grilled mushrooms with delight. Oh, are these the mushrooms we collected yesterday? Ahan flashes a bright smile. It's yummy. Senai adds, yeah, I grilled them and just added salt like you said. Diaz beams at Aruna. It's really good, Aruna. But she quickly turns away, hiding her blushing face. He calls out to her, but she stays turned away. Diaz is confused. Aruna hasn't looked me in the eye since we came back from the forest. I wonder why. The next day, a new challenge awaits. Inside his yurt, Diaz is hunched over a large map spread across the floor. With two of his fluffy Mia companions nearby, he stares intently at the plans for the future of their village. One of the Mia nudges him curiously. Diaz glances over. Are you curious? He begins to trace the lines on the map, thinking aloud. Around here is the temporary road Eldon made. If we're going to build the one Eli suggested, it would be over here. I wanted to see how it would look. He visualizes the grand project. Eldon is going to construct a road from the east to the middle. And Eli is thinking of expanding it from there to the west, all the way to Pajan's country. The full scope of Eli's plan unfolds in his mind. A massive crossroads with Iluk village at its heart. This new artery of trade would bring a flow of people and goods, allowing them to sell their unique products and grow wealthy. But a shadow of doubt crosses Diaz's face. I realize that for us and the Oni folk, the Mia and the grasslands they feed on are indispensable. I want to make this village bigger, but I don't want to do anything that would harm them. A Mia lets out a questioning bleat. Diaz gently pets its head. We can't only think about ourselves, and I'm sure the Oni folk want to make their village bigger as well. Suddenly the two Mia become agitated, nudging and bleating at him insistently. He looks at them trying to understand, what is it? With a surprising burst of strength, they shove him forward, nearly knocking him over. Diaz stumbles, still trying to decipher their strange behavior. Then it clicks. He might not understand their language, but he understands their intent. I think they're saying, you should think about what you want to do first, don't worry about others. A new determination settles in his eyes. He looks back at the map with fresh perspective. Actually, this crossroad doesn't look bad. He picks up a piece of cloth, an idea forming. First, I'll separate it, something like this. As evening falls, Diaz continues to work. He carefully lays the cloth over the map. Leave this for both sides, and if something is missing, we can spend money to fix it. He feels a surge of confidence, as if the Mia are cheering him on. Isn't that good enough? Whatever happens, happens. You're already thinking it over carefully. You shouldn't worry, just do as you want. A smile spreads across his face. I feel like that's what they're saying. Just then, a voice calls out his name. Kamalats, one of the village elders, bounces in through the door. Dinner is almost ready. Today, we're all eating together in the assembly hall. He spots what Diaz is doing and panics. Diaz-san, please don't play with such an important map. After Diaz explains his complex thoughts, Kamalats listens patiently. I see, you were thinking about all that, Kamalats says, impressed. I actually agree with this plan. However, you need to get opinions from the Oni folk as well, not just our representatives. Diaz looks confused. I understand we need to ask the Oni folk, but why wouldn't that include Aruna? Kamalats clarifies, Aruna is a member of Iluk village now. She will answer as one of us. You need to ask another Oni, someone who can speak for their people if they object. Following Kamalats' advice, Diaz arranges a meeting. He sits across from Zorg, a prominent Oni warrior who is casually enjoying a mushroom skewer. So that's why you came to me, Zorg says. Well, I get to eat Aruna's food, so it's fine. I never imagined mushrooms could be this good, Zorg muses, taking another bite. Diaz explains, I asked Cedrio, the fastest of the dog folk, to send a message. I apologize for summoning you, I would have preferred to visit you myself. Zorg notes the clandestine nature of the meeting, but this is something we can't discuss with Chief Maru yet. He sizes up Diaz, a hint of amusement in his voice. Oh, you've been promoted to Duke and even got a family name. Now you're building roads and planning to expand your village, huh? Diaz nods, yeah, we talked about this with all of our citizens, but... He unrolls a simple, hand-drawn map. This is Iluk village and this is the Oni village. We want to build a crossroad here, turning our home into a center for trade. Zorg leans in as Diaz explains the strategy. First, we'll build a road from the west to here. If we make enough money, we'll expand it to the east. And if we make even more, Diaz continues, we'll expand north and south. He gets to the crucial point. However, we can't build this without the Oni's permission. That's why we wanted to talk to you first, even though I know it's not that simple. Aruna sits beside him as he speaks. We want to keep a friendly relationship with the Oni folk. We want to avoid any problems. Diaz's expression turns serious, but rethinking everything. There are still a few things that could cause us problems in the future, which makes me uneasy. He brings up the old wounds that have never healed. For example, what happened during the war or who truly holds ownership over these grasslands. That's why I tried to figure out what to do regarding all that. Including the road construction. Zorg cuts straight to the point. Just say everything you have to say, beating around the bush won't do any good. Diaz takes a deep breath, ready to present his radical solution. Well, it's me we're talking about, so I haven't come up with anything complicated. The easiest and fastest way to solve this is to split the grasslands in half, 50-50, half for us and half for the Oni folk. What about that? Zorg's eyes narrow, processing the bold proposal. Diaz elaborates, as Aruna pointed out, if we just split it north-south or east-west, we wouldn't be able to build our road. He gestures dramatically over the map. So we want to take this circular piece of land right in the middle for Iluk village. Everything else would belong to the Oni folk. He addresses the obvious flaw. It's true the Oni territory would be split into 4, but you guys can use all the roads freely, so moving around won't be an issue. And if I do this, he demonstrates, you can see that it's actually split perfectly in half. Anyway, this is just my proposal, Diaz concludes. For the exact details, we'll ask a friend from the Dove folk for help. He can survey the land from above to make a precise map, and then we can set the stakes to divide the land in 2. Zorg remains silent for a moment, his expression unreadable. Finally, he asks the most important question. Has everyone agreed to this? Eli and Kamalatz confirm in unison. We discussed it with everyone, there are no objections. Zorg's gaze shifts to Aruna. Aruna too. Diaz smiles, putting an arm around her. Of course. Aruna flinches, her face flushing as she glares at Zorg. The tension is palpable. Zorg raises an eyebrow. Are you guys fighting? Aruna quickly shakes her head, muttering no. Diaz, completely missing the awkward vibe, continues his pitch. I know for you and everyone who has always lived here, it might feel like we're taking half of your land. I tried to think of the best way to solve this, but I couldn't think of anything. In the end, I thought the fairest way would be to split the territory in half. He reveals the trump card. As a duke, I've been given discretionary power over territories. If I give you half the land, it becomes a guaranteed haven where you can live proudly. As long as this country stands, half of this land will be legally owned by the Oni folk. Zorg is visibly stunned by the magnitude of the offer. I've also thought about other details, like leaving land for the Mia, Diaz adds, but for now, let's focus on dividing the land. Zorg lets out a long sigh, a smile finally breaking through. I have a lot I want to say, but if I were the chief, I would accept that offer without hesitation. Aruna adds her perspective. Against the kingdom, we have no chance of winning. Getting half the land is an incredible deal, plus the road benefits us greatly. Zorg's mind begins to spin as he connects the dots. Besides, depending on how you look at it, you could say the whole grassland is becoming ours. He looks from Aruna to a confused Diaz. You're married to Aruna, your children will be her children, right? Diaz nods. Oh, yes. Zorg points a finger, the final piece of the puzzle falling into place. It all becomes clear. The chief's master plan. Aruna's children who carry Oni blood will one day inherit Diaz's land. In a single generation, the entire territory will, by right of succession, return to the Oni. Zorg's mind races, the pieces of a grand puzzle snapping into place. Arg, that chief, was she planning this from the beginning? He stares at Diaz, the seemingly simple man at the center of this complex web. You, no, he mutters, the full scope of the plan dawning on him. It all goes back to the beginning. From the moment Diaz and Aruna were married, their fate, and the fate of the grasslands, was already sealed. Zorg breaks into a cold sweat. That's why she gave you our precious Mia and yurt, why she helped you live like one of us, and why she made me a chief candidate. He imagines Chief Maru laughing, holding them all in the palm of her hand. If I become chief, the 2 lands will be ruled by relatives. Damn, she's playing 4D chess and we're just the pieces. Diaz looks on, completely oblivious to the political storm brewing in Zorg's mind. Zorg's expression hardens. He's done being a pawn. Hey Diaz, I need a full debrief. Tell me everything about your status as a duke, your privileges and the laws of this country. Then we'll hammer out the details. A fire ignites in Zorg's eyes, his resolve solidifying into raw determination. I'll get all the information I need, he growls, and I'll blow that old hag's mind. Diaz just sweats nervously, caught in the crossfire. Diaz, however, takes it as a win. At any rate, he thinks to himself, it seems he's on board. Meanwhile, far from the grasslands, the scene shifts to the bustling western town of Fanatxt. In the city's shadowy corners, a sinister deal is underway. A cloaked figure inspects a small bag of leaves. Yeah, this is good. He's meeting with two other shadowy figures, their faces hidden in the darkness. In exchange, a chest overflowing with coins is presented. Please accept this. The man behind the operation, Prince Meza, smirks from the shadows, his plan set in motion. Under the cover of night, one of his agents carries a crate of the illicit goods through an alley. The contraband is loaded onto a nondescript wagon, ready to poison the city. But they're being watched. Nereus, advisor to the first Prince Richard, observes the transaction. Meza has started moving, he notes. Nereus knows exactly what's in those crates. Those leaves are an illegal substance. If they hit the market, this city will be overrun with addicts. It'll descend into chaos. He slips away into the alleys, his mind heavy with what he's seen. He feels a sense of grim resignation. Even if people die, there's nothing I can do to stop it. Nereus enters a lively tavern where the patrons are buzzing with local gossip. Hey, did you hear? Eldon Sama has started training with the sword and on horseback. Another patron chimes in. Yeah, when I saw him this morning he looked so gallant, completely different from before. They speculate he must have made up his mind after becoming a duke. Whatever it is, the economy's booming. It's an awesome time to be working here. Nereus listens in, hearing similar stories from all corners of the city. Even the chefs are complaining happily about how busy they are. As he sits down to eat, he reflects on the town's atmosphere. To be honest, I don't hate this city, he thinks. The food is good, it's lively, and it has a great vibe. He watches the diverse crowd of beastmen laughing and drinking together. It's safe, easygoing, a good place. He takes a long drink, the thought of Meza's scheme leaving a bitter taste in his mouth. It would be a damn shame to let him and the Empire ruin it. His eyes narrow, he's caught between his orders and his conscience. I'm supposed to follow Richard Sama's orders. Let Meza waste the Empire's money on this Western venture without any major success or failure. He feels trapped by his loyalty, but I can't just follow his orders blindly, I'm too indebted to him. He hangs his head, conflicted. I respect him so much, what should I do? Just then he spots a rhino woman walking down the street with two small fox children. It's a simple, heartwarming scene of everyday life in the city he's starting to care for. He muses, parent and child, no, they're different races. Maybe she's just taking care of the neighborhood kids. As they pass by, the little fox children wave excitedly. On impulse, a genuine smile crosses Nereus's face, and he waves back. In that small moment of connection, his decision is made. Well, I'm beat, I give up, he sighs, a weight lifting from his shoulders. It can't be helped, this whole thing is way above my pay grade. He slams his mug on the table with a loud thud. I'm getting drunk, no one could blame a drunk man for letting a few things slip. A sly look crosses his face, and if the brilliant feudal lord of this town happens to find out about Meza's plans on his own and acts before I do, well, my hands are tied. His message finds its way to the right person. Late that night, an aide delivers a report to Lord Fanatxt. Good work, you may leave. Fanatxt reads the report by candlelight, his brow furrowed in concern. Someone is smuggling illegal leaves into the city. The implications are dire. My lord, are they trying to destroy this city from within? His expression turns grim as he wonders, who could it be? The scene shifts back to the vast, open grasslands. A new day dawns over the Oni village. Inside Chief Maru's residence, Zorg presents the agreement. I've prepared the contract for obtaining ownership of half the grasslands, down to the last detail, he announces. Chief Maru looks it over. Well, for now, this is just a piece of paper, we won't formalize the agreement yet. She slides a hand over the document. Once we do, the kingdom will know of our existence. But when we're ready, we'll make it official. Then, we'll either start our own country or swear fealty to Dayas. We'll see how things go. She looks up at Zorg. One more thing, what about the other villagers? Do they all agree to this? Zorg confirms, oh yeah, it seems like nobody objected. Moru's eye glints with satisfaction. I see. Show me your pendant, she commands. As Zorg presents the pendant, Maru imbues it with her power. Zorg watches stunned as the pendant transforms. You did a good job, Maru says, bestowing the new, more ornate pendant upon him. You've ranked up, you are now second in line for the position of chief. Zorg is shocked by the sudden promotion. And from today, she continues, you will become the leader of the new security team. With the road being built, traffic will increase and so will problems. I'm also concerned about the recent appearance of dragons. The expeditionary team's role will shrink, she explains. This is your chance, show me you have what it takes to be the next chief. Zorg listens intently, understanding the weight of his new responsibility. Maru's tone becomes serious. All of this is happening because of Aruna and Dayas. If anything happens to them, I want the security team to be there to help. Her eye flashes with a cold light. Those kids are naive, they gave us half their land. If anyone tries to take advantage of them, it might be best if we get rid of them ourselves. A shiver runs down Zorg's spine. A scary old hag as always, he thinks. I understand, I'm still no match for her. Back in Kazdek's, the sound of a wooden sword slicing through the air echoes through a training hall. Eldon swings his blade with all his might, grunting with effort. His footwork is clumsy, and he stumbles. He collapses to the floor, panting and exhausted. His aide rushes to his side. Eldon-sama, you should rest, pushing yourself this hard will be bad for your body. But Eldon grips his sword tighter, his hands trembling. He pushes himself back up, his face a mask of pure resolve. If I don't work hard now to make up for all the time I lost, I will never be able to catch up to Diaz. His aide can only watch with concern, calling his name. Miles away in Iluk village, Diaz lets out a sudden massive sneeze. Senai and Ahan turn to him. What happened, Diaz? Are you cold? At the same time, Aruna finally musters the courage to look him in the eye again. The twins immediately seize the opportunity to tease her. Aruna can warm you up, like she did by hugging you before. Aruna instantly turns bright red, exclaiming, Wah! As the yurt fills with laughter and Aruna's flustered protests, a status report on the newly named Mere Battle fiefdom scrolls by, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. In Iluk village, the hustle for winter has begun. Massive hams are hung to cure, a promise of sustenance through the coming cold. Dogfolk diligently work, sorting and drying produce, stocking up the village's food stores. Shelves are piled high with textiles, ready to be turned into warm clothing against the harsh winter. Everyone is pitching in with high spirits. A villager shouts, I'm going to do my best for the babies who will be born soon. Even the Mia are fired up, bleeding in agreement. Suddenly, a group led by Klaus returns from a supply run, their wagons rattling under the weight of their haul. Everyone, we are back, Klaus announces. We got a lot today too. Diaz stands tall, overseeing the flurry of activity. 10 days have passed since autumn began and the entire village is engrossed in their winter preparations. As he watches, Aruna approaches him. Oh, I see that Klaus and the others are back, Diaz says, turning to her. He looks at her with concern. How did it go with Senai and Ahan? Aruna gives a weary smile. With Amer's help I was able to convince them. Diaz lets out a sigh of relief, though he's clearly curious about what went down. The story begins with a single, desperate question echoing from inside a yurt. Why? In a flashback, Senai and Ahan are in tears, throwing a massive tantrum. Why can't we go into the forest again? Aruna explains that because they went to the forest almost every day, Senai and Ahan's foraging skills improved at a crazy rate. Thanks to their hard work, the village gathered all the food they needed way ahead of schedule. Worried about overhunting, Aruna had to tell them, we are not going to the forest anymore. And that's when their rampage began. Senai, feeling her efforts were unappreciated, started tearing up the yurt, screaming, why, we were doing our best for everyone. Back in the present, Aruna recalls how she had to get Diaz out of there. If you start talking, things will get more complicated, so just go chop some wood or something, she'd ordered him. Diaz, looking flustered, could only agree. And so he was banished to chop wood, while Aruna handled the situation. She had to point him in the right direction to get him to leave. As they walk through the fields, Diaz comes up with a solution. Well, we still have preparations to make in order to pack what we've harvested. We can ask them to help with that for a while. He then offers a compromise. I will take them to the forest one of these days. We still haven't finished logging those bad trees they were talking about. If we go play instead of hunting, there shouldn't be a problem. Aruna smiles. That's true, thank you. Diaz reminds her, but we still need to finish all of our winter preparations first. We need to enclose the yurts for the winter as well, so this is just the beginning. Just then a familiar figure descends from the sky. Oh, if it isn't Grant, Diaz exclaims. The male dove Grant is coming in for a rough landing. It's been a while, Diaz calls out. What happened? Grant crash lands, completely out of breath, struggling to even say hello. It's been a gh. Seeing the exhausted messenger, Senai and Ahan rush over with bowls of water and grain. Here you go, they offer kindly, their earlier tantrum forgotten. Grant gratefully accepts their help. Thank you very much, he sighs, finally catching his breath. Lying on the grass, he explains his ordeal. Today's luggage was very heavy and I was even chased by a hawk on my way here. I was very tired, but I'm feeling completely fine now. Standing up, he gets straight to the point. So, now that I'm back to my senses, I will get to the point. He gestures to his large bag. I've brought you these letters. Diaz looks at the pile. There are a lot. Grant begins summarizing the mail. Most of the letters were regarding Eldon's health. He's been recovering quickly and he's even getting taller. He continues, then, regarding the new road, construction will begin after the snow melts next year. Diaz holds a small package. What is this? Grant lists off the senders. We also have a thank you letter from Eldon's wives and letters from the lion, deer, and dog folk chiefs, and from Canny's Dono's father. Diaz examines the package, intrigued. Grant explains that's a symbolic item from each tribe. Hair from a lion's mane, a piece of antler horn, and a bundle of dog tail hair. They're to express gratitude for Eldon Sama's recovery. These objects don't really have any value in and of themselves, he adds. Consider it more like a mark of honor. Aruna takes the items from Diaz. I will put them in my jewelry box. Grant then presents a single, wax-sealed letter. It's fine for you to read the others whenever, but I would need an urgent response for this one. Could you please take a look at it now? Diaz's expression turns serious as he takes the letter and breaks the seal. His eyes scan the contents. This is. The letter concerns the fate of the big-eared mouse race, the very ones who had attacked Grant. After their capture, they were subjected to strict training from the lion race and are now utterly terrified of them. And in order to atone for their sins, Eldon is proposing to give them a new role, reconnaissance and dealing with suspicious individuals infiltrating their territories. But to give this plan the green light, they need permission from the victim of the attack, Diaz. He mulls it over, a wry look on his face. The victim. Senai and Ahan chime in. They are small and agile, so I think they are very suitable for this task, but it would also mean setting them free. That increases the risk that they could try to attack you again for revenge. Grant reassures them, of course we are going to be as careful as we can, while Aruna adds, but Eldon Sama really wants to give them a chance to redeem themselves. So, it would be very helpful if we make use of them with Diaz Sama's permission. Diaz smiles calmly. Since I already asked Kamalat to handle this matter, I don't intend on saying anything more. And I'm sure that if Amor were to hear that they are redeeming themselves and working earnestly, she would be very happy. I'm indebted and very grateful to Amor, so for her sake and for the mouse race's sake as well, I hope this ends well. He turns to Grant. You need an answer, right? I will write it right away. Hearing the good news, Senai and Ahan run off shouting, good news, good news. They bring Amor, a member of the mouse race, before Diaz. Amor bows deeply, her voice filled with emotion. Diaz-san, thank you very much. As he sits down to write his official reply, surrounded by grateful villagers, Diaz can't help but think to himself, this is a little bit embarrassing. After resting for the night, Grant takes the reply and flies back home, leaving Iluk village in peace. With the messenger gone, it's back to business. Diaz asks, so, what should I do next? Aruna, busy with her own chores, replies, let's see. We need to continue with our winter preparations. Diaz looks at her slightly confused. She lays out the plan. We've already gathered enough food, so next we have to prepare for the cold, making winter clothing and enclosing the yurts, and also making some winter sleepwear for the grannies and the babies. Diaz scratches his head. We are making winter sleepwear just for the grannies and the babies. Aruna realizes his confusion. Well, of course, the young ones don't really need it. That's right, the east doesn't get that cold, does it? She explains the winter in this area is very harsh. All the creatures that live here fight the cold by burning up the blood in their bodies to create heat. However, the older ones and the babies have less strength, so they can't create enough heat to last until morning. Without proper winter sleepwear, they could even die. Diaz finally understands. Oh, I see. He points to a nearby deer hide. Does that mean you are going to use this mountain deer's fur for winter sleepwear? Aruna immediately shoots down the idea. No, if they wear this, their bodies will get cold and they won't even be able to sleep. She elaborates, mountain deer fur is good to wear during the day to keep out the rain, wind, and snow, but it doesn't absorb any moisture, so it's not suitable for sleepwear. Sweat will build up inside the fur and that sweat gets cold. In the worst-case scenario, it could freeze and give you frostbite. Mia wool makes the best sleepwear, she concludes. It quickly absorbs the sweat and dries up, keeping the cold at bay. Diaz is still a bit skeptical, muttering, I see, deer fur looks hot enough to me. Aruna just smiles. You will understand when winter comes. Getting back on track, Diaz asks, then what should I do? Do you want me to make winter sleepwear? Aruna reminds him, oh right, we were discussing that. She gives him his next assignment. First, I would like you to inspect and fix all the yurts to prepare them for a winter enclosure. Check that the pillars are not broken and the outer fabric is not damaged. After that's done, then enclose the yurts for the winter. Well, we can do that part together, she adds. Reinforce the columns to resist the wind and snow, adding a double layer of outer fabric and tying it tightly. Diaz nods, got it, Aruna. And so, Diaz sets off with a few of the dog folk to inspect every yurt in the village. Luckily, the weather has been calm since he arrived. Because of this, there wasn't any significant damage, and the inspection work went by in a flash. The next day, the work continues. With the help of the entire village, Diaz manages to finish enclosing all the yurts, reinforcing them for the harsh winter ahead. He steps inside one, noting the change. It might not look different, but the air itself feels warmer, more secure. He thinks to himself, this should be enough, but just to be sure I'll check them again. Diaz begins his final inspection of the newly winterized homes. He even gives the support columns a stress test, confirming their sturdiness. Yep, they all look fine. Just as he's finishing up, a voice calls out, it's Eli. Father, do you have a moment? Diaz turns to her. What is it, Ellie? She approaches, holding a stack of papers. I spoke with Aruna about the vendors and ran the numbers with Amar Chan. She hands him the documents. I've calculated how much Manhwa fabric we can sell versus the supplies we need to buy. Can you review these? Eli lays out the situation. Thanks to the Manhwa, our stock of fabric is growing steadily, but after we set aside what Iluk village needs for the winter, we won't have much left to sell. She gets to the grim reality of their finances. On the other hand, our list of necessary supplies is long. To be blunt, we'd be operating at a loss. Eli continues, fortunately, we still have that line of credit you secured, so we should be fine, but I wanted your input on this. She then offers a solution. If we make everyone's clothes from something other than the premium Manhwa wool, we can avoid going into debt. But Diaz waves off the concern with a reassuring smile. If the money runs out, I'll just earn more. Don't hesitate to use what we have. Eli looks at him, knowing his heart is in the right place, but still worried about the practicalities. Diaz's expression turns serious. The most important thing is that everyone feels safe and makes it through the winter. Prioritize that above all else. Eli sighs, a gentle smile on her face. I understand, I thought you'd say that. She pushes the papers towards him again, but, can you at least check the paperwork? For Eli, the numbers flow like a river, every calculation perfect and precise. Diaz, on the other hand, gives them a quick glance and a thumbs up. Yep, I checked it, looks fine to me. Eli isn't done yet. There is one other important matter. Regarding the winter clothes Aruna is making, we need to decide on a budget. Diaz looks at her confused. Eli quickly clarifies, of course we need them, so we should use as much as necessary. Sorry, let me rephrase. She leans in, a sparkle in her eye. I want to use some of the money to make our winter clothing more fashionable. Eli passionately makes her case. Functionality is key, I know, but if we're making them anyway, why not make them beautiful? Fashionable clothes lift people's spirits and it'll set a high standard for the products we eventually sell. Diaz chuckles, easily won over. Of course, I don't mind, but fashion is Aruna's department, not mine. You should talk to her about it. Eli is ecstatic. Thank you, father. I'll get Asa and the others on it right away. Oh, but we'll need some money for that. As she dashes off, she mutters to herself, worst case, I'll just put it on Goldia's tab. Diaz overhears her. Wait, Goldia's tab, but it's too late. Oh no, she's gone. Meanwhile, far away in the eastern city of Bangor, a different kind of business is being conducted. In a dimly lit room, a cloaked figure looks at sacks of coins. I'm surprised you acquired this much money and these certificates so quickly. They weren't wrong to call you a money monger. The man on the other side of the table, the disgraced Prince Meza, scoffs. Huh, you call this chump change? He leans back with utter contempt. Anyone could earn this much, well, maybe not a simpleton like Diane. His cloaked associate looks doubtful. You say that, but I don't think even I could. Meza's smug demeanor shatters into rage. This is all that stupid Fanatxt kid's fault. He explains with a wicked grin, eliminating tariffs and opening free markets sounds noble, but it leaves you wide open to exploitation. Thanks to their carelessness, I've made a fortune selling moonshine and contraband. He gestures to the piles of gold, and this is just the beginning, we'll get more, so much more. His eyes narrow with sinister intent. That's when the real show will start. Meza's voice drips with venom as he lays out his grand plan. With the power of money, this entire region will be in the palm of my hand. I'll make Diaz and that Fanatxt kid my puppets, and I'll rebuild my influence by turning humans and beasts alike into merchandise. The cloaked figure questions him, and what of your plan to take the throne? Meza just smirks. After I ensure you win, things will return to normal, then I can simply disappear. The aide presses the issue, confused by Meza's apparent lack of ambition for the crown. Meza sighs, annoyed. Are you still on about that? It's already decided that Richard will be king. I can't change that, but I can still control the course of events for the next few years. The aide falls silent, his face unreadable beneath his hood. He then offers a chilling suggestion. If you're not taking the throne, you could always take this money and present your own head to the empire as a gift. Meza laughs, completely unfazed. Don't be so dramatic. If you could kill me, you would have already. I'm prepared. If I die, some very interesting stories will start circulating around the kingdom. He leans forward, a bead of sweat on the aide's brow. Meza lights his pipe, mocking him. The empire must be truly desperate for personnel to have sent someone like you. The aide glares back. What the hell are you? He asks, genuinely curious. What made you like this, so obsessed with money you'd sell out your own family and country without a second thought? Meza takes a long drag from his pipe. Is money really that important? He exhales a cloud of smoke. Your empire and the fools in this country, they're the ones who made me this way. His voice rises to a shout. I wasn't the first one to sell out this country, it was its own stupid citizens. He recalls the painful past. My father may not be the most capable ruler, but he was a good, honest king. When the empire attacked, what did his people do? They betrayed him. They sold food, weapons, and information to our enemies. Meza chuckles without humor. I'm sure your empire helped orchestrate it, a truly horrible story, isn't it? He spits the words out with disgust. Then, when the tides of war turned back in our favor, they came crawling back to kiss our boots. But the merchants who betrayed us first, the ones who lined their pockets with blood money, they were exonerated with bribes and excuses. A few were made examples of, but the message was clear. He takes a drink, the memory burning in his throat. That's when I realized, money is everything in this world. He remembers his father working tirelessly. My father worked himself to the bone for this country with no time for sleep or luxury, and if we had lost, he would have been executed without a second thought. Maze's face contorts in a maniacal grin. It doesn't matter if you're a king or a saint, without money you are nothing. A blood-soaked moneylender has more power than any of them. The aide listens, a cold sweat forming on his brow. Maze's expression is one of pure, cynical enlightenment. He leans back, the rant over. I just wonder why my father and brothers still haven't realized that simple truth. But beneath the floorboards, their entire conversation has been overheard. The big-eared mouse folk now working as spies are diligently taking notes. Should we attack him now? One whispers. Stupid, the leader hisses back. We write down everything first, stay focused. He adds with a shiver, if we miss a single word, teacher will eat us. The spies tremble in fear, imagining the roaring lion who now commands them. A few days later, the spies' report reaches its destination. Inside Eldon's opulent office, the young lord is clearly troubled. Juha finds him lounging on a sofa. What is it? Are you still regretting yesterday's decision? He warns Eldon gravely, you can still take it back, but the alternative is the worst possible path. Eldon holds the report from the mouse spies. I know your suggestion is the logical one based on this intelligence. He sighs, the weight of his choice heavy on his shoulders. But, the assassination of Prince Meza to kill a member of the royal family, it's a heavy burden to bear. While a maniacal figure on the right screams his ambition to turn people into merchandise, a young man on the left is buried in paperwork, sighing, I can't stop sighing. The story begins. In the bustling Iluk village, a large, friendly man grins, surrounded by his happy dogs. Around him, the fruits of their labor are on display as various groups are making their move. This man is Diaz. He looks over the preparations with pride. Thanks to everyone's hard work, he thinks, we were able to get all this food ready. Suddenly, two small elf girls peek through the doorway. Diaz, are you free right now? One asks while the other adds, do you have some time? Diaz turns to them. I'm free and I do have some time. What is it? The girls explain their request. We want a roof for the fields to protect it until spring comes, against the snow, against the wind. Diaz considers it thoughtfully. Ah, their field, it's true, I should make something to at least protect it from the snow. Just as he's processing this, another voice calls out. An old woman appears, Diaz-chan, oh so you were here. She's introduced as Granny Chilchai and she has her own urgent request. It's about the round field of crops. I want to harvest it tomorrow or the day after, so please could you make some time for it then? Before he can even answer, a horned woman rushes in, calling his name. Diaz, Francis has started preparations for labor. The baby will be born tomorrow or the day after, so get ready. Right behind her, a young dog person adds to the chaos. Diaz-sama, the pregnant wives from the dog folk are showing signs of labor. I think they will be giving birth at the same time as Francis. Diaz is hit with a tidal wave of responsibilities. He needs to build a roof, manage a harvest, and now prepare for multiple births all in the next 2 days. I see, then we need to make some preparations, he says, trying to stay calm. I don't know much about childbirth, so please tell me what I should do. Internally, he's panicking. Can I finish all of that? The two elf girls, sensing the mounting pressure, look on with worried expressions. Diaz quickly turns back to them, waving his hands dismissively. No, it'll be fine, he says, trying to reassure them and himself. I will make a roof to protect the fields from snow. But the bad news isn't over. Another man bursts in, shouting, Diaz-sama, Granny Maya's fortune says that tomorrow or the day after we'll be hit by a cold front and attacked by some monsters. We need to be on guard and make the necessary preparations. The final piece of news is a critical hit. The carefully stacked tower of tasks in Diaz's mind, the roof, the harvest, the births, is utterly shattered by the incoming monster attack. His brain short-circuits. For a moment he's completely overloaded, and then something snaps. Confetti erupts from his head as he reaches a state of serene, almost manic acceptance. The elf girls deadpan the laundry list of problems, Francis's and the dog folks' birth, harvesting the crops from the round fields, the winter enclosure for Sanai and Ahan's field. Moreover, suddenly there's a cold front and a monster attack, the narrator explains. The village had to act fast. We immediately discussed all these issues, Diaz recounts, and ended up dividing the work. The entire village gathers in a yurt for an emergency meeting. As they plan, one of the women offers Diaz a bowl. She then firmly grabs his head, a gesture of support and resolve before the difficult days ahead. With the plan set, Diaz turns to face the challenge. The tasks are assigned. Aruna, Karis, and Granny Maya will attend the births, one woman explains. Another adds, well, Maya and the others are going to lend us their wisdom. I also have some knowledge of birth. A young dog person worries, will it be all right? Next, the harvest, the Orson Sheps and the Basenji step up. Leave all the digging to me, one of them declares with gusto. For the cold front, Ellie, Uncle Ben, and the women and children of the dogfolk clans take charge. Ellie announces, we have to make everyone's winter wear quickly. The defense against the monster attack falls to Klaus and the Mastiffs. The monsters are supposed to attack from the north side of the village. Our team will be waiting at a considerable distance to intercept them. Klaus rallies his team. The monster attack is tomorrow. We will be camping here today. We don't know the type of monster or how many are coming, so we will have to keep an eye out. For anything we've missed, we have Aruna's magic to rely on. He turns to his Mastiff forces, who growl in anticipation. Our priority is protecting the village. Keep your eyes on anything that tries to get close. And finally, the field enclosure for Senai and Ahan's crops. Diaz explains, the ones in charge of that are Senai, Ahan, Amer, and me. He chose this job for a strategic reason. With this, I can be on standby in the public plaza, which is in the center of the village, and I can deal with any unexpected events. As he works, he's asked if the straw will be enough. It's similar to the yurt, so it should be fine. His weapon rests against the wall, ready for action. After this winter enclosure is finished, he thinks, I have to be prepared to stay awake and keep watch until everyone has given birth safely. The day wears on. As the sun begins to set, the team works tirelessly. The straw walls of the enclosure stand tall against the darkening sky, a testament to their hard work. Finally, the job is done. The elf girls collapse from exhaustion. Somehow we're done, Diaz says, looking down at them. Thank you for your hard work, Senai, Ahan, and Amer. Lying on the ground, they smile up at him. Thank you, says one. Thank you, Diaz, adds the other. Diaz gently scoops one of them up. Are you tired? Let's go back and wash off that sweat. The girls look up at him, their expressions unreadable. He picks them both up, but they immediately start struggling. I don't want to, one yells. I'm staying here, shouts the other. As he carries the squirming girls, a sudden commotion from inside the main yurt catches his attention. Inside, things are getting serious. Maya, it's starting, someone yells. The midwives are ready, reassuring each other. It'll be fine, we are all ready. Hearing the sounds, the elf girl in his arms looks terrified. Diaz kneels down, his voice soft and reassuring. I see, you're worried about all the moms and babies, but I can't let you two catch a cold. Let's go rest in the yurt for today. A small creature on his shoulder adds, Aruna-san and Maya-san are there with them, so they'll be fine. For now, let's warm you two up. Suddenly, Ellie charges towards them, carrying an enormous bundle. We made it on time. Alrighty, here we are. This is everyone's winter clothes. It was extremely hectic. Ellie, Diaz calls out, surprised and relieved. Ellie immediately notices the girls' sad faces. Oh my, what happened to you two? Why are you sulking so much? Could it be you're feeling lonely because Aruna is not here? She kneels down to comfort them. Well, there is no helping it. She wraps them in warm new clothes. I will comfort you tonight, okay? The girls snuggle into the warmth, finally content. Diaz watches the tender moment with a gentle, fatherly smile. Ellie then turns to him, holding up a massive fur cloak with a grin. This fur is for you, father. She drapes it over him. It ended up looking like a bandit outfit, but I just didn't have enough time, so forgive me. The fur is high quality, so it should protect you well from the cold. She gives him a confident wink. From now on, you are going to be patrolling at night, right? Wear this and work hard. As Diaz stands there in his new, intimidating gear, the two elf girls run off, cheering him on. Do your best, Diaz. Now on patrol, Diaz calls out to the yurt, Maya, take a look over here. From inside, he can hear panicked voices trying to stay calm. It'll be fine. Okay, breathe. Diaz grips his axe, his expression hardening with resolve. Everyone's doing their best. I can't do anything for the birth, so I'll have to do what I can on my own way. He chuckles to himself, thinking, I think that everyone's outfit looks a lot like that one guy's. What was his name? Night has fully fallen. Diaz stands his lonely watch outside the yurt, the area lit by torches. He listens to the sounds from within, his face a mixture of concern and determination. He thinks to himself, it's already pretty late. Sometimes, I can hear everyone's lively voices, but I wonder if everything is okay. Just then the yurt door creaks open and Granny Maya steps out, shivering. Ah, it's cold. Diaz turns, Granny Maya. He immediately rushes over. Are Francis and the others okay? Maya looks at him and delivers a strange but welcome message. Everyone is fine. We were able to bring all of the babies to this side safely. Diaz is left confused. Bring them to this side. Under a starry sky, an old woman explains a profound truth. A pregnant belly is connected to the domain of the gods. The baby is a gift from that world. So if we don't bring them to this side, they cannot be born in this world. She turns to a concerned-looking man, continuing, it's not as simple as giving birth. We have to work hard to bring them to this side. Since the baby is still closer to that world, they could easily just go back. Later, the ordeal seemingly over, the old woman walks across the plains. Well, everyone did a good job of bearing their pain, she says with relief, and now it's fine. She smiles, reminiscing. The maternity room was lively, wasn't it? It's because all the mothers were laughing. Inside a yurt, she speaks to a group of women. We saw your shadow outside the yurt, she says, teasing the man from before. And we were making jokes saying, he looks like a lost bear, and laughing. Her tone becomes sincere as she looks at him. You are very reliable. The man, touched by the compliment, smiles back. She dismisses him with a wave. Well, go back to your patrol, I'm just going to the toilet. He replies, oh, I'm sorry. Walking away, the man chuckles to himself, a bit embarrassed. A lost bear? Well, I think it's fine as long as everyone had fun. His spirits lifted, the warrior named Diaz pumps himself up. Okay, he exclaims, bounding off with renewed energy. From inside the yurt, a woman with a horn on her head calls out, don't overdo it, Diaz, you need to save some energy. Another woman adds gratefully, thanks to Diaz-sama, we're not as nervous. The horned woman nods in agreement, you're right, we're thankful Diaz-sama was here tonight. With a look of gentle determination, she says, let's do our best as well. Nearby, 2 sheep clearly in labor pant heavily. The sentiment is clear, we need to bring these babies safely to this side. The scene shifts to the vast, dark grasslands under the night sky. On the north side of the grasslands, a lone yurt stands, flanked by torches, with a large, armored dog standing guard. Suddenly the guard dogs are on the move, rushing through the grass with urgency. One of the dogs growls, its eyes fixed on an unseen threat. A nearby wooden structure creaks ominously. The dog barks fiercely towards the yurt, alerting its master. The yurt door bursts open and a man in full armor emerges, spear in hand. A young commander shouts, Roan, Senga, Tokyud, report. The dogs, Senga and another, bark their report frantically. The monsters are here, they're really large, they're limber, they have dragon fang armor, but they do not falter, they do not stop. The commander processes the information instantly. Got it, rear guard at ease. The dog named Tokyud and his companion take a moment to catch their breath. The commander thinks to himself, the report didn't contain anything conclusive. But they did well to gather so much information by relying only on their noses on this moonless night. He considers his options. If the monster invasion is too much for us to handle, we can rely on Diaz-sama in Iluk village. But he quickly dismisses the thought, his confidence unwavering. However, it's unlikely that such a formidable opponent would appear. He stands with his dogs ready for battle, even without Diaz-sama, those of us here, who have always trained every day without fail. Should be more than enough, he declares with grim certainty. Just then, a colossal, shadowy form looms before him in the darkness. The commander squints, identifying the creature. Oh, it's just a monitor lizard. The massive reptile slithers forward, its forked tongue tasting the air. Its cold, reptilian eye glares with an unsettling intelligence. He quickly assesses the threat. It's a monitor lizard, known for its size but slow and without special abilities. The most important thing is the jaw, also watch out for its tail swing. He barks out orders to his dogs. You guys go around the right and the left and attack its feet. Next, attack the flank, I'll go in from the front. He roars his final, most crucial command. The most important thing is to avoid injury. Overdo it. The dogs brace themselves, ready to follow his orders. The perspective shifts, and we hear the lizard's inner thoughts as it looks upon the scene. Ah, seriously, the creature thinks with disdain, why is this place ablaze? It watches the warrior, unimpressed by his fighting spirit. This uselessly bright, uselessly swirling flame, isn't it hard to feel so passionate about everything? Its gaze falls on the glowing spear. That spear is dangerous. The lizard's eye narrows. It glances at the dogs circling it. Those little fangs are also a nuisance, they're all trying to take my life. Suddenly, a dark, crystalline object pulses within the lizard's body. A malevolent voice echoes in its mind, overriding its thoughts. You think you're allowed to run away, bite down on the hateful enemy before you. As dark miasma swirls around the crystal, the voice commands, only our own kind may be permitted to live. Fill this world to the brim with miasma. The commander senses the sudden shift in the creature's energy, his brow furrowing in confusion. The monitor lizard's jaw unhinges, and a blinding light erupts from its throat. A powerful shockwave, a silent roar, blasts across the battlefield. The dogs are sent tumbling by the immense force. But the commander holds his ground, digging his spear into the earth for leverage. With a powerful push, he launches himself high into the air, soaring over the lizard's massive body. As he flies, his objective is clear in his mind. The monitor lizard's weak spot is. He zeroes in on a small, vulnerable point on the back of the creature's head. The target is small, but his aim is true. In a stunning display of aerial acrobatics, he twists his body and plunges his spear directly into the weak spot. The silhouette of the lone warrior stands victorious atop the fallen beast. His spear, buried deep in the monster's flesh, drips with dark blood. He lands lightly on the creature's back, pulling his weapon free with a sigh of relief. Phew. But looking down, he sees his dogs are still cowering and shivering in fear. He walks towards them concerned. Hey, what's the matter, everyone? He kneels by the dead lizard's head. Don't tell me his roar just now scared you guys. Human ears can't hear it, so I was fine, but I was told you guys have really good hearing. He gathers his canine companions, checking them over. It's all right, none of you are injured and your ears appear to be fine. He offers them a chance to recover. Anyone who wants to rest may return to their yurt, it's important to rest. But just as he says this, a familiar rushing sound fills the air. The dogs that were on lookout are returning at full speed. His eyes widen in alarm. Klaus and his dogs turn to see a horrifying sight, a horde of monsters cresting the hill, their eyes glowing in the dark. A fierce battle is just beginning. A cold front sweeps across the plains. A lone warrior, Diaz, surveys the land, relieved. I didn't expect a cold front to hit us like this, he thinks. It's a good thing we finished harvesting the crops already. He recalls the village elder's warning. I heard that Maya's predictions are never wrong, but man, her accuracy is incredible. A grim realization sets in as he remembers the rest of her prophecy. That means that there will be a monster attack from the north. Still, he places his faith in their defenses. Well, Klaus should be fine, he can handle it. Back in the village, life continues. Two young elves and their canine companions carry heavy baskets towards a yurt. Diaz rushes over, eager to help. Is there anything I can help with? But the elves immediately shut him down, shouting in unison. No, you have to rest. Diaz was busy patrolling the whole night. He can only reply with a defeated, oh, okay. With nothing to do, Diaz wanders aimlessly, his thoughts drifting. It's past noon already and the babies haven't been born yet. I wonder if all the mothers are all right. Suddenly, a horned girl bursts out of a yurt, her face alight with excitement. Lupa and Beto's babies from the Orson-shep have been born. The news electrifies Diaz and the dog, Lupa. The girl adds, they're healthy quintuplets. Inside, the new mother, Beto, rests peacefully, curled around her 5 tiny, whimpering pups. The whole village is in a celebratory mood. A young dogfolk girl beams with joy, with Granny Maya smiling warmly behind her. The two elves watch the happy scene unfold, cheering from a distance. Congratulations, we are so glad. But the new father, Lupa, is getting impatient, trying to push his way inside. Please let me see the babies. The horned girl, Aruna, holds him back firmly. Lupa, calm down, I cannot let anyone in until all the babies are born. She softens her tone, trying to reason with him. I will bring Beto and the babies to you later, so get everything ready for them. Diaz steps in to comfort the anxious father. Don't make such a worried face, it's taking a while but everything will be over by tonight. He turns to Aruna. I see, is there anything you want me to do? She shakes her head. Not for now, but keep your composure and set an example for the others. As she turns to leave, Aruna looks back with a faint blush. That coat looks good on you, Diaz. Diaz is left slightly stunned, pondering her words. His companions, however, are ecstatic, showering him with compliments. Does it really? It looks very good, Diaz-sama, you look very handsome. As the day wears on, the sky darkens, and a sense of anticipation hangs over the village. Soon another cry of joy rings out. It's a baby, so cute. The elf girls peek into a basket, their eyes wide with wonder at the sight of the newborn dogfolk puppies sleeping soundly. Diaz rushes to Aruna, a worried sheep named Francis in tow. Aruna, all the dogfolk babies have been born, the only one left is Francis. Aruna's expression is tense. It's taking longer than expected. Francis the sheep panics. Normally the babies should have been born already. Aruna quickly tries to reassure him. But don't worry, Francis. Francis is doing just fine. Granny Maya also said she's fine. Please believe in us and wait a little longer. Diaz gently pats the trembling sheep. Even if they say that, you'd get worried if you don't know what's happening inside. Inside the yurt, Granny Maya watches over the laboring Francis, her face etched with concern. I wonder if Francis is all right like they said, and if her babies will be born safely. Outside, Diaz sits with Francis, sharing in his helplessness. Not being able to do anything is frustrating. The midwives gather around Francis praying, please, somehow, bring all the babies safely to this world. Francis sends a silent plea to his mate, please Francis. The tension is unbearable as everyone waits. Aruna watches, her heart pounding, be safe. Francis closes his eyes, hoping for the best. The wind howls outside the closed doors of the yurt. Time seems to stand still. Far away on the northern plains, the prophecy comes true. A young warrior named Klaus lets out a battle cry. He plunges his spear deep into the skull of a giant lizard monster. The beast collapses, but the fight is far from over. Panting, Klaus grits his teeth. Damn it, it's endless, no matter how many we kill. New ones just keep on coming. His war dogs fight bravely beside him, but they too are being overwhelmed. He scans the battlefield, a sea of reptilian monsters. Thanks to the traps that we set up beforehand, everyone is still unharmed, but things will get bad if we don't finish this soon. He tries to stay positive, analyzing the threat. The one good thing is that monitor lizards are easy targets. Their defense isn't as strong as an earth dragon's, their claws aren't as sharp as a wind dragon's, their movements are slow, and they don't breathe fire. Although, he grimly admits, they are large and there's a lot of them, that's the worst in a defensive battle. His men are flagging, I can still fight but everyone is reaching their limit. A desperate thought crosses his mind, should we retreat? He immediately rejects it. No, if we retreat now, we might lead the monitor lizards to the village. And I don't want to imagine what would happen if the pregnant ladies hear a roar that made even trained Tibetan mastiffs shiver. Just then a truly massive lizard looms over him, its maw wide open. One of his loyal war dogs intercepts, its armored jaws clamping down. The dog rips a chunk from the monster's throat in a spray of blood. But the horde is relentless, Klaus feels trapped. What should I do? We can't keep fighting. But we can't retreat either. His thoughts turn to the village protector. If it was Daya's Sama, he would do something about them in the blink of an eye. Splattered with gore, Klaus knows he isn't Daya's. He has to make a different choice. Suddenly, a terrifying roar echoes from behind the enemy lines, signaling even greater threats approaching. Silhouettes of more, larger monsters appear on the horizon. Klaus's face is slick with sweat. He narrows his eyes, his decision made. He turns to his comrades and bellows the order. Everyone, retreat, return to the village and report the situation to Daya's Sama. His war dogs look at him, confused and unwilling to leave his side. Klaus forces a grin, trying to sound confident. I will stay here and hold the line, don't worry, they're just small fry to me, even if 20 more come I can handle it. Klaus is at his breaking point and his comrades can feel it. He tries to reassure himself, thinking, even if 10 or more come I can handle it. But his comrades, the mastiffs, are starting to tremble. They know their leader is nearing his limit. These mastiffs cherish their comrades above all else. Klaus watches them, a strained smile on his face. And their loyalty means they cannot bear the thought of leaving him behind. Their hearts pound with anxiety. Especially not when faced with a horde of monstrous rhino lizards. One of the mastiffs lets out a frustrated roar, its patience wearing thin. Suddenly the entire pack of mastiffs surrounds Klaus, ready to charge into the fray. Klaus whips around in shock. You guys stop, he yells desperately. Go back, your wives and children are waiting for you in the village, right? But his words don't reach them. Their instincts are screaming, protect our comrades, protect our family, defeat the enemy. Having spent so much time with them, Klaus can understand their thoughts. He clenches his jaw, knowing this is a bad habit of the Tibetan mastiffs. When they feel cornered or endangered, they abandon all logic and judgment, leaving everything to what they call the blood's will. Once they enter this state, they won't listen to anyone, except for one person, Daya's Sama. Klaus knows if this fight continues, there will be deaths. Don't do it, stand down, he pleads, at least you guys should. But his plea is cut short by a sudden, powerful tremor that shakes the entire battlefield. He looks around in confusion. What is this quaking? Is there another monster besides the lizards? Even the mastiffs are startled, wondering what's happening at a time like this. A lone silhouette appears in the distance, the source of the tremors. Klaus looks toward the figure, realizing the direction it's coming from. His eyes widen in disbelief. That's the direction of Iluk village. A booming, cheerful voice cuts through the tension. Hey, Klaus! A man carrying a massive barrel and a battle axe casually strolls onto the scene. I was wondering if you were thirsty, so I brought you some water, he shouts, completely ignoring the tense standoff as the mastiffs all flop onto their backs in relief. Klaus can only cry out his name in sheer astonishment, Daya's Sama. Daya's looks around at the carnage. Whoa, this place is full of dead lizards, why are you here, and what's with that outfit? He quickly dismisses it. Well, whatever, besides that. He grins from ear to ear, delivering the real news. All the mastiff babies were born, everyone is doing fine. The news hits them like a lightning bolt. Everyone was born safely, the mastiffs stare in stunned silence, their battle rage completely gone. Back in the village, a new generation has arrived. A horned woman bursts out with more incredible news. Fanatxt had 6 tuplets. Even for a me, triplets is a lot, but 6 is unheard of. The village is overflowing with new life. She proudly declares, Fanatxt is an awesome mother. And Francis, she tells the relieved father, you are the luckiest father in the whole world. Back on the battlefield, Daya's explains, I wanted to let everyone know as soon as possible, so I rushed here. Let's go back to the village. But as he speaks, one of the giant monitor lizards looms over Klaus, ready to strike. Klaus freezes, caught completely off guard. Before the monster can attack, Daya's is already in motion, leaping onto its back with his massive axe raised high. His cheerful demeanor vanishes, replaced by a deadly seriousness. Everyone is going to see the babies now, he growls. I won't forgive you if you get in our way. Klaus realizes the truth. No, if we go in, we'll just be in his way. He makes the call, let's leave it to him. In a blur of motion and brutal force, Daya's single-handedly annihilates the remaining monsters, painting the landscape in their black blood. And then silence falls over the battlefield. With the immediate threat gone, they decided to leave the cleanup for later and rushed back to the village. Diaz reflects on their recent struggles, quoting Granny Maya, "We've already overcome a lot, I think there's nothing else to worry about." One of the mastiffs agrees. The harvest and childbirths are over and they've survived a cold front and a monster attack. It was a close call. Diaz smiles warmly, but really, everything went well thanks to everyone's efforts. Klaus however stops in his tracks. Diaz turns, "Failed." Klaus looks down, dejected. "No, I was just thinking that I failed today." "Is something wrong, Klaus?" Diaz asks, his expression concerned. Klaus confesses his feelings of inadequacy. "I got cornered by a large number of enemies and couldn't lead everyone the way I should, if Diaz-sama hadn't come." Diaz listens patiently before responding. "If you put it like that, then I have failed countless times." He remembers his own past battles, the times he was cornered, the comrades he lost. "If I think about it, there would be no end to it." He then breaks into a hearty laugh. "Yet somehow, I'm still alive. If everything ends up well, isn't that good enough?" His tone becomes serious again as he offers his wisdom. "If you still think that you failed, then use this experience in the future. What happened today will help you grow, and if you do well next time, you'll forget the small failures without even realizing it." Diaz gestures towards the glowing village in the distance. "Also, I wanted to let you know what you protected this time. You might be thinking of this as a failure because you haven't seen it yet. I'm sure when you get back to the village and see that scene, you won't be able to say you failed anymore." As they approach, they see the villagers, safe and sound, gathered together, cradling their newborn children. A small, genuine smile finally appears on Klaus's face. Under the starry night sky, Klaus, Diaz, and the mastiffs walk together towards home. But at that same time, in the distant Eldon's mansion, a different story was unfolding. Two figures stand by a window, their conversation unheard. An older man with a stern expression listens. A messenger delivers a small, folded note. The note's contents are grim. The assassination failed. Meza escaped and his whereabouts are unknown. In a quiet, peaceful yurt under a wide-open sky, a litter of newborn babies are sleeping soundly. Watching over them are two young, elf-like girls, while a man named Diaz apparently gets in the way. Diaz peeks through the doorway, whispering, "How are the babies? Is there anything I can help with?" He's immediately met with a death glare from the two caretakers. They pounce, shushing him furiously. "It's nap time right now, be quiet." All Diaz can do is apologize. Seeing he's not needed, Diaz smiles warmly. Well, it seems there's nothing for me to do here. But this peace is a world away from the dark schemes brewing elsewhere under the cover of night. A man with long, white hair and a sinister grin relaxes in a plush chair. "That damn Eldon," he muses. "He sent an assassin way earlier than I thought, but it's to be expected from the man who killed his own father and usurped his territory." He smirks, recognizing a kindred spirit in his foe. Unexpectedly, his way of thinking might be very similar to mine. Then his next move should be. In another location, a hooded figure reports to the white-haired man. "And by the way, I also eliminated those idiots from the Empire as you requested. I wasn't about to let go of someone who'd threatened me anyways." The white-haired man, Meza, casually thanks him. The hooded figure adds, "They were such a hindrance, but it wouldn't look good if I were to eliminate mere merchants." Meza's eyes gleam with cunning. "Mere merchants, huh?" he repeats to himself. "Counting you and the people who leaked the information I needed, Eldon has a lot of enemies." The hooded man quickly tries to backtrack, feigning loyalty. "Oh no, that's not the case. We're making money thanks to Eldon-sama." He continues his false praise, but Meza's sly smile shows he isn't buying a word of it. Meza knows he has this man, and many others, wrapped around his finger. Meanwhile, the target of this plot, Eldon, lies in his chambers, seething with frustration. "I can't believe we let him escape. It seems I underestimated Meza." The hunt has been fruitless. For 93 days, they've searched Marangar City on the west side of Mahadi, but there's been no trace of him. Eldon complains to his attendant. Luckily, it seems he hasn't left the fiefdom, but that also shows how little he thinks of us. The attendant can only offer a grim agreement, so I can't really say I'm happy about it. But Eldon's frustration turns into resolve. "But, on the other hand, we can take advantage of that." He begins to strategize. "This matter must be handled in secret. Maybe I can have some members of the intelligence squad infiltrate the general affairs staff and..." He clenches his fist, determined. "If necessary, I will even go myself." In the grand halls of the palace, a council is held. One of Eldon's advisors, a man with long black hair and a prominent chest tattoo, offers a blunt solution. "We should move the army." Eldon looks on, a bead of sweat betraying his hesitation at such an extreme measure. The advisor elaborates, "There is a group of merchants working in the underground whom I've been following. If they take Meza's side, it'll be troublesome." He presses his point, urging a show of overwhelming force. "We should deploy the whole army and suppress not only Meza but anyone suspicious." But Eldon disagrees, favoring a more cautious approach. I'm against suddenly mobilizing the army. If it's really necessary, we should investigate properly beforehand. His advisor scoffs at the idea. Whoa, whoa, Your Grace, what are you saying? There is no need for any investigation. You can do that after capturing everyone. He then hits a nerve, comparing Eldon to his more ruthless father. You just need to say, let's mobilize the army. We should remove the seeds of rebellion as quickly as possible, even if it's a little violent, like your father used to. The advisor sits back, explaining his logic. To be honest, I don't even know what their goal is, but the fact that they are still here suggests they're after this territory. He continues his argument. Machete is an unstable territory due to recent rebellions. Whatever their objective is, we cannot let them stir up trouble there. And this is coming from me, a man who hates wars more than anything. He leans in, his gaze intense. I want you to think about this thoroughly. Just then, a messenger pigeon bursts into the room, chirping frantically. Eldon-sama, we have found traces of Mesa. Eldon's expression hardens as the pigeon delivers the crucial intel. He is hiding in Meranger. The aggressive advisor immediately stands, ready for action. What are your orders? Eldon weighs his options, the fate of the mission resting on his decision. He points towards the city, issuing a two-pronged command. Send the military to secure the area. Dispatch a small, elite team from the intelligence squad to where Mesa is hiding. His advisor listens, accepting the nuanced plan. Eldon then makes a bold declaration. I'll take command myself. As they prepare to leave, the advisor gives one last piece of advice. Avoid making a fuss by bringing as few people as possible. Eldon nods in agreement. We'll keep to the shadows. The heavy doors swing shut behind them. They depart. As he leaves, Eldon casts a worried glance back at his advisor, who remains seated alone in the vast room. He and his attendant stand before the exit, ready for the dangerous mission ahead. Eldon clenches his fist, steeling his resolve. But suddenly, a hand grabs his arm, stopping him. It's a veiled woman, her eyes welling with tears of concern. Eldon's expression softens as he recognizes her. Patty. He reassures her, I will be fine. I can move as well as a normal person now. And this time I will have a lot of comrades by my side. Taking her hand, he gives her a final promise. Besides, this is my territory. There's no way I can lose here. Please don't worry and await my return. With his farewell said, the hunt begins. Eldon leads his hand-picked team through the city, moving swiftly in search of Mesa. His intelligence squad is a diverse fighting force, with the dove folk providing aerial reconnaissance, the powerful lion folk serving as the main infantry, and a guard squadron of various beast folk, including the stealthy big-eared mouse folk. Eldon felt confident. After all, this was his territory, and his military force should have been more than enough. The operation was supposed to be foolproof, or so he thought. But Mesa was always one step ahead, again. They discovered numerous secret hideouts, but all of them were empty and abandoned. Worse, they captured a few of Mesa's body doubles, none of whom had any useful information. Eldon was forced to chase every lead, no matter how flimsy. He knew most were likely false, but he had to verify every single one. Mesa's strategy was working perfectly. By splitting Eldon's forces to chase ghosts, his personal retinue had been cut down to less than half its original size. A dreadful thought began to creep into Eldon's mind. Maybe Mesa is not plotting anything. He considered an even more humiliating possibility. Maybe he's just playing with me, and his plan is to get a laugh out of it. Lost in his own paranoia, Eldon and his remaining men approached the door to yet another suspected hideout. They cautiously entered the dark warehouse. Eldon scanned the room, his shoulders slumping in disappointment. He's not here either. Suddenly, shadows dropped from the rafters, and assassins emerged from behind crates. Eldon's eyes widened in horror as he realized the truth. Oh no, it was a trap. In an instant, his small, exhausted team was completely surrounded. An assassin slams a heavy bar across the door, sealing their only escape route. His men cry out in panic, Eldon-sama. As the trap springs shut, the sound of a single, confident footstep echoes through the warehouse. From a balcony above, a man with a sinister grin looks down, a bundle of leaves in his hand. I really wanted to see Yao Eldan. A man in a turban and white robes looks up in alarm, shouting a name, Mesa. The man on the balcony continues his chilling monologue. We really are alike, we love money and we hated what our fathers did. We're like brothers in the way we think. The only difference is that you succeeded and I failed. Eldon's eyes narrow with fury. You're so easy to read, daring to show your face in a place like this. The villain calmly lights the bundle of leaves over a small pot, the herbs crackling as they catch fire. A look of sudden realization dawns on one of the guards. That plant is. Without a word, the villain drops the burning bundle down into the courtyard below. It lands with a burst, engulfing Eldon's men in a thick, acrid smoke. A large bear man, coughing from the fumes, instantly identifies the substance. This plant is good. It's the raw material for a drug that's been forbidden since the foundation of the country. The villain laughs from above. It clears your mind and you need less sleep. The only bad side is the rotten smell that comes out, but well, you get used to it. His grin widens into a manic sneer. I like the diluted version, but since you have such a good nose, I got a very strong one just for you. Suddenly, masked assassins emerge from the shadows, their leader barking orders. You guys, capture Eldon alive, kill the rest. Eldon and his beastmen companions are completely surrounded. In a flash, blades are drawn. Eldon moves swiftly, engaging the assassins head-on. With gritted teeth, he expertly parries a thrust from an enemy sword. An older man in Eldon's group, Camelots, roars to rally the troops. Everyone, don't fear, fight. The bear man echoes the sentiment with unwavering loyalty. Protect Eldon Sama with your lives if you must. With a unified battle cry, Eldon's forces charge, clashing with the assassins in the smoke-filled courtyard. A few of the smaller, mouse-like beastmen hesitate in fear. Whoa, what should we do? One whispers. Another adds, if we're going to run, we have to do it now. But one finds his courage, inspired by their leader. We will follow Camelot Sama. Another stands tall, declaring with newfound pride, we are the proud begeared mouse race. We will never run in the face of an enemy. Camelot lets out a small, proud smile at his men's bravery. But the drug's effects begin to take hold. Camelot starts coughing violently, just as an assassin closes in from behind with a mace. The weapon connects with a sickening thud. Camelot's, Eldon screams in horror. All around him, his men are succumbing to the smoke, coughing and sputtering as the assassins press their advantage. Eldon's eyes fill with regret. It's all my fault, he thinks. As he fights off an attacker, the weight of his decision crushes him. I was careless. I lead my subordinates into this trap. The villain watches from above, savoring the moment. An assassin leaps from the railing, bringing a club down towards the vulnerable Eldon. The attacker plummets towards his target. Camelots can only watch in terror, screaming, Eldon Sama. Suddenly, a blur of motion tears through the chaos. A powerful kick slams into the airborne assassin, sending him flying. The newcomer moves like a whirlwind, effortlessly dispatching several more enemies in an instant. The villain on the balcony is stunned into silence. Huh. Camelot stares, bewildered by the sudden turn of events. Eldon looks on, equally shocked by their unexpected savior. The rescuer, a man with long, flowing black hair, strikes a dramatic pose. Get a good look at my swordsmanship that even made child's play of the great Dayas. Eldon's expression is completely deadpan, utterly unimpressed by the theatrical display. Meanwhile, the larger beastmen rally, forming a protective circle. Protect Eldon Sama. The battle resumes, with Eldon's forces now bolstered by their new ally. Eldon and the injured Camelots stand back to back, ready for the next wave. As the new warrior Juha spins into a devastating attack, a surviving assassin recognizes his style. Juha Sama's Let's Become a Smart Feudal Lord course, Lesson 1, Strength in Numbers. Juha lectures Eldon mid-battle. A surprise attack with a small team is not something a leader would do. It's a poor decision that only invites situations like this. Eldon, whose real name is Meza, retorts sharply. Lesson 2, it's best to follow the advice of me, the wisest man in the kingdom, even if you don't like it. He continues, gesturing to his beastmen allies. And Lesson 3, they are just good friends I met at a bar, meaning I have not overstepped the authority you granted me. Seeing his plan has failed, the villain on the balcony clicks his tongue in frustration and turns to leave. Meza starts to give chase, but Juha holds him back. Meza, wait, whoa, Lesson 4. Juha gives him a stern look. People like that are always setting traps, so don't chase after them carelessly. Meza sighs, then smirks. And today's last lesson, always place the right people in the right place. Leave the messy stuff to the people you trust. He glances over at his beastmen friends, who are now efficiently tying up the remaining assassins, the gorilla giving a proud thumbs up. The little mousemen, emboldened by the victory, start getting ambitious. Understood, maybe we can beat Dayas. Stop it with that, you idiot. The villain flees down a dark, empty alleyway. He runs, panting in frustration. Damn it, who the hell was that? He grits his teeth, vowing, I will retreat for now, and... His thought is cut short as a fist slams into his face, sending him reeling. The villain collapses to the cobblestones, knocked out cold. His ambusher, a man named Nereus, simply says, ah. Nereus sighs, lamenting his situation. I shouldn't have believed the ridiculous story that if I waited here, I could enjoy good wine and the company of beautiful women. He begins tying up his captive. He slings the unconscious man over his shoulder. Even though I failed to execute Richard's orders on purpose, who would have known, now, what to do, Tilda. As he turns, he's met by a cloaked woman. Are you Nereus? She smiles warmly. I'm here to guide you to the royal capital. She winks. The carriage you requested is across the alley, and the best wine and food are inside that carriage. Nereus is taken aback, a bead of sweat on his brow. Huh. He flashes back to the woman making him the offer. Is there such a good deal, for real? He'd asked. She had replied, of course there is, I swear it on the graves of my ancestors. She had told him, I will let you know the time and place, so be sure to go. Nereus recalls his skepticism at her vague instructions. You'll see it when you get there, she'd said, making him sigh. Ah, Tilda, what a strategist. Back in the present, he carries his bounty towards the waiting, ornate carriage. The scene fades. Later that night, a lone yurt sits peacefully under a starry sky. Inside, two young elf girls are fast asleep, surrounded by a flock of fluffy, sheep-like creatures. A man named Diaz and his companion gently cover the girls with a blanket. There was nothing for me to do today, Diaz says with a smile. His friend replies, that's not true, Diaz, don't sleep in a place like this. A dark-skinned woman approaches him. Francis's baby was safely born, so isn't it about time? Diaz looks away nervously. Time for what? In a vibrant village, a massive celebration is in full swing. Music fills the air as humans, elves, and various beastfolk gather for a joyous feast. The reason for the party is revealed. The day after the sheep, Francois and the others gave birth, the entire village came together for a huge banquet. Originally, the heroes of a recent battle, like Klaus the dog folk, were meant to be the guests of honor. But the adorable newborns completely stole the show, becoming the center of everyone's attention. A man with a kind face approaches the proud sheep parents, calling out to them, Francois. Standing beside a dark-skinned elf named Aruna, he smiles and announces, I've thought of names for the babies. He explains with a slight blush, Aruna told me that all the names I chose were way too long, so we came up with these together. Please, use them if you like them. The sheep parents bleat with excitement, eager to hear what they've chosen. The man smiles warmly, ready to bestow the names upon the new generation. He gently cradles one of the tiny lambs, his hands careful and steady. Looking at the sleeping lambs, he begins, for the boys, Fran and Franca. Franke. And France. And for the girls, he continues, Frema. And Frania. The parents are overjoyed, their happy cries echoing as they celebrate the perfect names. Even the newborn lambs seem to bleat happily in their sleep. The entire village erupts in cheers, sharing in the happy moment. Klaus and the other dog folk throw their paws in the air, joining the celebration. Aruna watches the scene unfold with a gentle, satisfied smile. It's a moment of pure, heartwarming joy for the whole community. Later, inside a yurt, the younger villagers gently play with one of the newborn lambs, continuing the peaceful celebration. But the scene shifts dramatically to a cold, imposing palace. A stern voice cuts through the silence, so in the end, you were impatient. A young, stout lord looks out his window troubled. I was impatient, he asks, questioning the accusation. His advisor explains, until now, with a body that could fall apart at any moment, Diaz was just a person you admired from afar. But now that you have a healthy body, you have started thinking that you might be able to reach him. The young lord clenches his fists, the name Diaz weighing heavily on his mind. The scene cuts to the man himself, Diaz, who looks on with disdain. But that, he says coldly, is the personification of stupidity. Diaz begins to list the young lord's recent, almost unbelievable accomplishments. Killing a dragon, encountering a legend like something from a fairy tale, even managing your territory well though it's slow. He stares down the young lord. You were faced with so many achievements you could never accomplish before, so as a ruler, you were in a rush to achieve something even greater. Diaz lounges with an insulting casualness. The you before drinking that medicine wouldn't have ended up this way. You would have left this to your subordinates, acted carefully, or listened to my suggestion. His gaze is sharp and unforgiving. Don't be impatient. You learned a lot from this, right? The young lord looks up, frustrated. So you're telling me to be passive from now on? Diaz throws his head back. No, that's not good either, because impatience, jealousy, and that passionate ambition are extremely natural and indispensable emotions. He clenches his fist, a strange power emanating from it. If you lose them, you won't be able to understand others. The older advisor chimes in, bear with that jealousy and impatience and control all those emotions. Become someone who can make the best decisions. Diaz stretches, continuing his lecture. People's feelings are hard to comprehend. They could be good or bad, and if you reach the extremes, they could end up as something terrible. He holds up his glowing hand, but a king has to take in everything. The old advisor seems struck by the profound wisdom in Diaz's words. The young lord bows his head, absorbing the heavy lesson. He remains silent for a moment, processing the harsh but necessary advice. Then he looks up, his eyes no longer filled with frustration, but with a new, sharp determination. He and his advisor stand together, gazing into the bright sun, a new resolve forged between them. Meanwhile, outside the grand room, a heavy door creaks open. 3 small, rabbit-like attendants are whispering amongst themselves. Do you think it's okay to enter now? Read the mood, but for real, what's with Juhasama's movements? The story shifts again, this time to a different grand estate under the cover of night. Inside, a blond man in a vest interrogates a nervous subordinate. Who ordered you to capture Mesa and bring him to the capital? The man grovels on the floor. No, I'm completely aware that this goes against the initial orders. He quickly explains, but a subordinate of the Duke from Machete not only let Maze's whereabouts slip, but he even arranged for us to capture him. I had no choice but to bring him with me. The blond man lets out a tired sigh, clearly unimpressed by the excuse. An older gentleman steps in to mediate. Well, we achieved this result with you in charge, so I don't think someone else could have done better. The scene flashes to their captive, Meza, chained in a dark dungeon. The man continues, putting it another way, you managed to capture Meza, and you captured him alive, putting a useful pawn in our hands. The blond man turns away, his decision made. I won't say anything more on this matter. He gives the subordinate a final, dismissive acknowledgement. You did well. The man slumps in relief, having escaped punishment. The story jumps to the vast, open plains north of the mere battle grasslands, where a tribe of horned warriors marches. They suddenly stop, horrified by the sight before them. What the hell are all these monitor lizard bodies? The field of carnage is immense, stretching out as far as the eye can see. Their leader Zorgs curses under his breath, recalling how he was tricked into this cleanup job. Damn it, I just wanted the materials. I shouldn't have easily said yes to disposing of all these monsters. I thought there would be like 4 or 5, that bastard. He sighs in resignation, turning to his men. We won't be resting for a few days. As they begin the grim task, his warriors speculate on who could have caused such destruction. Hey, the one who defeated all these is a relative of leader Zorgs, right? It seems like it. They imagine the immense power of Iluk Village's Diaz and his subordinate, completely intimidated. This mountain of bodies is crazy, their strength already rivals that of the national army. One warrior mutters, I don't think Chief Maru will stay quiet about this. Another adds, I'm impressed how the leader can interact with them, I would be too scared to get close. Zorgs overhears their chatter. I can hear you, he thinks, a sweat drop forming on his head. He reflects on Diaz's connection to Aruna and his monstrous potential. He then remembers Aruna's bright, smiling face cheering him on. The memory fills him with a sense of duty. Those guys, I owe them so much. With his resolve strengthened, Zorgs looks out over the plains, ready to tackle the monumental task ahead. The day begins with the universal sound of chaos, a baby crying its heart out. The young elf twins are at their breaking point. One girl complains, Diaz, Frania won't stop crying, while her sister adds, and Frema wants something and won't stop crying either. A calm, sturdy man named Diaz enters the yurt, unfazed by the noise. Well, he says with a gentle smile, let me see. The scene is a full-blown nursery, with babies of all kinds, including a small dog person holding a swaddled infant. The dog person looks up apologetically. Diaz-sama, I'm sorry, but Diaz is nothing but kind. Everyone is busy today, you're also busy with your own baby, right? Don't worry about it. He turns his attention to the crying infant. The dog person asks the baby gently, do you also want some milk? Diaz then approaches a massive, gentle-looking ram. I know you haven't rested at all, Francois, but please feed him. The great beast seems to understand and obliges. Meanwhile, the elf twins, Senai and Ahan, are being advised by an older woman. Senai, Ahan, don't overdo it. If you're tired, get some rest. But Ahan explains, looking exhausted, if we don't hold them, they won't sleep. The two are visibly shaking from the effort of rocking the babies. Diaz watches them with a knowing, compassionate smile. As night falls, the work is finally done. The little fluffball babies are all sound asleep in a pile. Senai and Ahan collapse onto their beds, completely drained. So tired, one groans. The other looks over at Diaz's silhouette and admits, Diaz, you're great with babies, I think better of you now. Diaz is a little taken aback. Just then, a horned woman named Aruna brings them a tray of food. Childcare is so much work, she sighs, sharing their exhaustion. Diaz takes the tray gratefully. You're right, thank you, Aruna. As they eat, Diaz explains his knack for it. I'm already used to this because I used to take care of the kids from the orphanage. But some people get so busy they wouldn't get enough sleep, and they'd get to the point of wanting to throw everything away. He continues, looking down at the small girls. One of the reasons why the dog folk plan for everyone to give birth at the same time is to help each other with taking care of the babies. Aruna adds, it seems it's a tradition for them to help each other. That's how difficult childcare is. The twins look up from their food, a new understanding dawning on them. I see. Aruna glances at Diaz with a mischievous smile. By the way, if Diaz has a child, everyone in the village will support us. The comment completely short-circuits Diaz, who breaks into a sweat and can only manage a choked, oh. He quickly tries to change the subject, gesturing to their meal. With a warm smile he says, but childcare is more than just hardships. His eyes soften as he looks at the girls. To watch over a child's growth, it really brings you happiness. Even the small, spectacled mouse creature seems to be listening intently while munching on its food. Diaz's thoughts drift to the sleeping infants. Just thinking about these little guys growing up healthy, about all the funny things and all the happy things they will experience, it really makes me happy. The girls listen, captivated, as he concludes, so much so that I believe there's nothing happier than this in the world. He then looks directly at Senai and Ahan. I'm pretty sure your parents also felt like that while taking care of you too. The words hit them unexpectedly. A faint memory surfaces of their own parents, looking both exhausted and happy. The twins' eyes widen, their cheeks flushing as the profound truth of his words sinks in. Diaz continues his gentle lesson. Everyone is born from their parents and grow while being taken care of. Someday, you will grow into adults and become the ones taking care of the next generation. The girls, now deeply invested, ask, so everyone had someone who took care of them when they were babies, even Diaz and Aruna, one asks. Did you cry all day, adds the other. Diaz chuckles, of course, Aruna smiles fondly. When we were babies we also cried and caused a lot of trouble. She then looks at Diaz with a teasing glint in her eye. I'm sure baby Diaz was so cute, even Diaz as a baby would be cute too. Once again, Diaz is reduced to a flustered, sweaty mess. The little mouse creature calls him out from the table. You ran away, Diaz-san. Trying to regain his composure, Diaz says, because all the people around us took good care of us, we became adults who can take care of a baby. Aruna looks on thoughtfully. Everyone is someone's child and they were born as a baby. And because someone else took care of us, we become adults. The girls listen, realizing, this doesn't change no matter the country or the race. One of them pieces it all together. Everyone was once a baby, and thanks to everyone's help we become adults. The other continues the thought, when you become an adult you can look after a baby, and that baby will become an adult as well. Diaz looks at them, proud that they understand the connection. Aruna smiles, seeing the lesson has been learned. This connection, this passing of care from one generation to the next, between every being, is what we call a bond. Diaz explains, and now, it's being built between the newborn Fran and his siblings, something that's between us and Sanai and Ahan and between everyone in the village. As he speaks, the girls envision all the people they know, all linked together. Everyone is connected to someone. There doesn't exist a person with no connections at all. Diaz brings the lesson home. That's exactly why Aruna and I want you to treasure that bond. That's why we lecture you and tell you not to fight. Or to be nice to others. The twins look down, a little embarrassed but nodding in agreement. The thought echoes from the sleeping parents. If you treasure that bond, someday you will be able to become decent adults and find someone suitable for you. Diaz continues, and after that you might. Aruna finishes with a gentle smile, take care of your own babies. The twins look up, their faces filled with a newfound sense of purpose and understanding. They beam, answering in perfect unison, yes. The wise little mouse creature looks on, satisfied. But then the twins' innocent curiosity takes a sharp turn. Hey, they call out to Diaz. What is it? He asks. With sparkling eyes they ask the million-dollar question, how do I make a baby? Can you make it if you get married? The question hits Diaz and Aruna like a lightning bolt, and they both freeze in absolute, wide-eyed panic. Aruna, sweating, tries to deflect. That's a complicated question, I'm all still learning about it, I will tell you when I make one. The girls, completely oblivious, just cheer, really. The scene ends on a status report for the fiefdom, showing a massive population increase from all the new babies as the twins excitedly chant, I want to see Aruna's baby, I hope you can make it soon. Winter is coming to the grasslands, signaling a change for the village. The villagers work together, preparing for the harsh season ahead. As Aruna explained, the cold is so intense that even monsters don't come out, making it a quiet time. For the Oni folk, this is the season to make preparations for the new year that begins in spring. It's also a time for self-improvement, a chance to polish skills and train their bodies. Diaz, for one, is taking full advantage of it. And so, after overcoming many obstacles, winter finally arrives at Iluk village. Inside one of the yurts, a trip is about to begin. Diaz informs Aruna, I'm gonna get going. She turns and smiles, oh thank you Diaz. Elsewhere the rabbit-like Yumaru is having a tough time gathering eggs. Hey stop moving, he yells at the horned sheep. Just as Diaz is about to leave, the elf twins Senai and Ahan run up to him. Diaz, where are you going? Diaz holds up a letter, explaining his errand. I need to deliver Ellie's list to Eldon's subordinates. She's making everyone's winter clothes, but it seems she's missing some materials. Hearing he's passing through the forest, the twins' eyes light up. Forest, winter preparations in the forest, then we want to go too. Yumaru quickly chimes in, I'm going too. And so, the group heads to the stables. A majestic white horse is led out to meet them. Now wearing their cloaks, Ahan and Senai greet their own horses, Shah, Grai. The horses neigh affectionately in response. It's clear they share a strong bond. Diaz calls out to his own trusted steed, Bears. But his attention is caught by another horse in the distance. A stunning and proud white mare. Diaz says her name softly, Aisha. Aisha is the mare they took in after the confrontation with Diane. She's very proud and won't let anyone ride her. But then something strange happens. The proud mare lowers her head and gently sniffs Yumaru. Yumaru is completely baffled. What me? Aisha seems to have made a decision. In a flash, she takes off across the plains with Yumaru on her back. Diaz watches in disbelief. Oh, did she choose Yumaru as her master? Yumaru thinks to himself, it's very unexpected but, as long as she lets someone ride her, I think it's fine. However, the reality of riding a full-sized horse hits Yumaru hard. He's left green and dizzy on the grass as the twins look on. Are you okay? Diaz offers some advice. Using a saddle might be a good idea, but don't push yourself, you can stay in the village and practice riding. Yumaru weakly insists, no, I'm fine. Lying on the ground, Yumaru admits the truth. It seems I won't be able to ride when she's running. I might not fall with a saddle, but I don't think I can handle the shaking. He makes a simple request. So please, when you are with me, try to walk slower. The twins happily agree. Diaz relays the terms to the proud mare. That's the deal, so please go a little bit slower, Aisha. She seems to understand. Back in the village, someone approaches Aruna's yurt. A knock comes at the door. It's Ellie. Aruna-chan, do you have some time? Aruna looks up, surprised. What is it, Ellie? Ellie holds up a piece of paper with a sly look. That design is done. Aruna's eyes widen in shock at what she sees. Meanwhile, the traveling party sets off across the plains. Having given up on riding Aisha directly, Yumaru is back in his favorite spot on Diaz's head. Whoa, I didn't know riding a horse could feel this good, Diaz smiles. Now I understand why Aruna likes horses so much. Yumaru sighs, if it wasn't for all the shaking, I would ride all day long. Isn't there a way to make it go away? Diaz replies, well, I'm sure you feel the shaking way more than humans do. Unless you use magic, I don't think there's anything we can do about it. Yumaru perks up. Yeah, magic, Diaz is surprised. You can use magic, Yumaru clarifies. It's not like I can't use it, but I'm not good at it. Yumaru explains, no matter who you are or what your race is, usually everyone can use magic. People like you or Benson who cannot use it at all are rare. Diaz is intrigued. Is that so? Among the soldiers there were many who were not good with magic either, but they could still use it, right? Yumaru elaborates on what Uncle Ben taught them. Even if you can only cast a tiny light, that's still magic. But if your magic flow breaks down or you run out of power, you'll feel sick. That's why if you are not good at it, you should not use it, Yumaru concludes. Diaz nods, I see. This gives Diaz pause. He thinks to himself, if you run out of magic, you'll feel sick. So Ben and I, who don't have magic to begin with, are always sick. Or maybe because we have no magic, we can't run out of magic or have our magic flow break down, so we can't get sick from it. His thoughts are interrupted as the twins spot their destination. I can see it, it's the forest. Ahan then asks, almost to herself, but really, what is magic? The question echoes in Diaz's mind as they ride on. I wonder what magic is all about. If I knew how magic power was born, would Ben and I be able to use it as well? If I was able to use magic, a lot of things would be easier. Finally, they reach the edge of the woods. The tall, bare trees of winter stand before them. The twins are ecstatic. We finally made it. I can smell the forest. Diaz gives them a quick warning. Don't go too far, okay? One of the horses playfully nibbles on Diaz's head. With their warning received, the twins get to work. They dash into the forest, beginning their preparations. They start by carving special marks into the trees. These marks are a complex code, indicating which trees can be cut down, which are unsuitable for lumber, and which must be left alone. They even specify which trees need to be cut down immediately, and which can be taken back for lumber today. Diaz watches, impressed. Are you marking them down? It's very detailed. Should I cut down the trees that need to be cut down right now? The twins call back from deeper in the woods, cut them later, cut them when we are heading back. They pop out from behind a tree to explain, we don't know the total yet, cut them after we finish checking. Diaz smiles at their diligence. Suddenly, the twins seem to find something important. They rush over to a specific spot. One of them quickly carves a large X into a tree trunk. They stand guard in front of it, arms outstretched. Do not pass through here, and don't cut these trees either, even she and Grai can't come here. Diaz is confused. What's wrong, Senna and Ahan? If you say we can't enter, I won't, but can you tell me why? He waits for their explanation. Yumaru guesses, is there a poisonous plant or something? The twins point excitedly past the forbidden line. A super delicious mushroom grows over there, a very yummy mushroom that smells great. They explain that there are only a few right now. To protect them from being stepped on or eaten by animals, they want to build a fence and wait until next year, when there will be enough for everyone in the village to enjoy. The twins are practically drooling at the thought, chanting to themselves like a mantra, we can eat them next year, endure till next year. Diaz just smiles warmly at their dedication. Is that so? Then I should do my best to build a fence for next year's harvest. With a new purpose, Diaz eyes a sturdy tree, perfect for the job. He rears back and with a mighty hup, he swings his axe, the blade biting deep into the wood. The tree crashes down with a thunderous boom, impressing Senai and Ahan who watch in awe. As the day wears on, Diaz works tirelessly. Even the horses take a break, resting in a clearing while he continues his task. He drives sharpened logs into the ground one by one, methodically constructing a sturdy barrier around the precious mushroom patch. The twins pop up from behind a tree, cheering him on. As expected of Diaz, Diaz is so fast. Finished with his work, Diaz stands proudly as the twins hug his legs. "Thank you," he says, laughing. But in the middle of the celebration, a sealed letter slips from his pocket and falls to the ground. One of the twins quickly picks it up. "Diaz, you dropped a letter." He looks down, confused. "Letter?" Then it hits him. His face contorts in panic. Oh no, I completely forgot. I have to hand this letter to Eldon's subordinates." Yumaru steps in to calm him down. "Diaz-san, if you have something to do, please go. I will watch over these two. We can run on our horses, or Senai and Ahan can fight with their bows. It will be fine." Diaz looks worried, shaking his head. "But I can't just leave you guys here." The twins exchange a quick glance. They immediately start pushing him away. Go, we will be fine." Their smiles are a little too eager, a little too bright. Diaz narrows his eyes, a thought crossing his mind. "It feels like they're trying to make me leave." Yumaru senses his hesitation. He puffs out his chest. "And despite my appearance, I'm an adult. If anything happens, I can handle it. We were in the forest the whole day, but nothing dangerous happened, right?" Diaz still isn't convinced, but still. Finally they all shout in unison, "You are losing time with all this chit-chat. Just go and finish your errand." Defeated, Diaz gives in. "Okay." He quickly mounts his horse. "I'll be right back," he yells, spurring Bayers into a gallop. "Let's go." The trio waves as he rides off into the distance. The moment he's gone, Senai and Ahan share a mischievous grin. Yumaru turns to them, his suspicions confirmed. "So, what are you planning to do today? You didn't want to be seen by Diaz-san, so maybe some magic like the one you used before." One of the twins gasps, "How did you know?" while the other sighs, "If that's the case, let's hurry up. Diaz-san will be back soon." Without another word, they kneel on the forest floor, preparing their ritual. Suddenly, a blinding dome of pure, white light erupts from the clearing, bathing the forest in its glow. The horses watch nervously from a distance, captivated by the strange phenomenon. Yumaru watches, a familiar sight to him. How many times have I seen this light? He knows their secret. Senai and Ahan frequently cast this mysterious magic in a few places around the village without anyone noticing. He's seen them do it late at night, in the privacy of their yurt. And out in the fields, far from prying eyes. They do it secretly, without telling anyone. All for everyone's sake. As the sun finally sets, the magical light fades. The forest returns to normal. Yumaru hops over to the two small mushrooms, now infused with magic. "So, tasty mushrooms will grow from this." Ahan explains, "Unlike other plants, mushrooms are complicated, so we just prepared the soil." Senai adds, "They might not grow like we want them to. But these mushrooms are super yummy," she declares, drooling, "so we wanted to try." Suddenly, the sharp snap of a twig echoes through the quiet woods. The twins and Yumaru freeze, startled by the sound. A figure emerges from the trees, a short, stout man with a magnificent white beard. "Oh, this magical power, it is the forest elves indeed, so nostalgic, forest elves have returned." He lets out a hearty laugh. "As you can see, I'm a cave dwarf, so I wouldn't cause you any harm, my sworn friends." The trio stands their ground as the dwarf approaches. "I sensed a very nostalgic presence in an unusual place," he explains, "so I came out of hiding." He chuckles at their defensive posture. As always, the elves of the forest are very cautious, haven't changed after hundreds of years. Then his eyes catch the glimmer of the gems hanging from their necks. He recognizes the magic instantly. "That gem hanging off your necks, the magic power, I can feel from it, it's from the stone dwarves." A look of understanding dawns on his face. "I see, so the stone dwarves and the forest elves teamed up, it's just like the olden days." Yumaru's ears perk up, a thought clicking into place. The dwarf's eyes narrow, focusing on them intently. "But, your leader is a human, just a normal human with no magical powers." The twins whisper to each other, "Is he talking about Diaz?" "Probably." They both give a solemn nod. The dwarf observes them for a moment. He smiles gently. I see. "That normal human," he asks, "is he a good neighbor to you, a kind neighbor?" Without a moment's hesitation, the twins blush and shout, "Diaz is very kind. He's not perfect, but he is very kind and warm." The dwarf takes in their heartfelt answer. Yumaru watches the exchange, a little worried about how much they're revealing. Miles away, galloping across the plains, Diaz lets out a sudden sneeze. The dwarf strokes his beard, his decision made. "I see, in that case I will have to get going. In order to fulfill that nostalgic promise buried at the end of my memories." The twins can only look on in confusion. With a final, booming laugh, he turns and walks away. "I will be visiting you in a few days. Let that normal human know." His voice echoes as he disappears into the forest. Meanwhile, back at the village, Aruna is looking over a new design from Ellie. She blushes beet red. "Oh, this is a special clothing to captivate father." The design is a rather daring maid outfit, With a look of fierce determination, Aruna strikes a pose, ready to do whatever it takes. The pregnancy plan was officially in motion. Diaz gallops on his horse Bayers, racing back towards the village. Breaking through the trees he calls out, "I'm back everyone, I'm sorry it took so long." But instead of a warm welcome the twins, Sanai and Ahan, just mumble, "Ah, welcome back." Diaz immediately senses the strange mood. Is something wrong? Yumaru, looking concerned, pushes up their glasses. Is something wrong? Well. Ahan looks troubled, admitting, "I don't know where to start." Yumaru begins to explain that after Diaz left they had a mysterious encounter. Diaz's mind comically conjures an image of 7 singing dwarves, but Yumaru quickly corrects him. "No, it was just one guy, please cut that out. I thought he was someone who lived in this forest, but that doesn't seem to be the case." Yumaru finishes the story, explaining that the strange old man, after asking about Diaz being human, promised to visit him personally within a few days. Diaz shrugs it off, not seeing the big deal. Maybe he got lost in the forest and he was losing his mind. Anyways, it's already late. As dusk settles he decides, "I will let Eldon's subordinates know tomorrow." Later that night inside their yurt, Diaz tells Aruna about the incident. "You met an old guy in the forest?" she asks, intrigued. Diaz explains his theory while they eat. There's no one living in that forest, he must be a lost wanderer from somewhere else. But when he mentions the man's strange clothes weren't from the area, Aruna freezes, a look of realization on her face. Oh, odd clothing. The next morning Diaz notices Aruna is acting strangely. "Is something wrong, Aruna?" he asks. She gets flustered, quickly denying it. It's nothing, everything's fine." The next day begins. The group rides back into the forest, first checking in with Eldon's men before returning to the spot where the mysterious man appeared. Diaz scans the empty clearing. He isn't here today. Dismissing it, he turns to the others. "Well, it doesn't matter, let's finish yesterday's work." The twins cheer, ready to get started. The sounds of chopping and heavy work fill the air. Trees begin to fall as they clear the area. They get down to business, preparing the lumber. Diaz, now shirtless, puts his raw strength to use. He effortlessly hefts a massive log onto his shoulder, his determination clear. He continues hauling the heavy timber. Meanwhile, Senai and Ahan work together, skillfully tying together a new fence. Suddenly the horses, who had been resting nearby, become agitated. They start sniffing the air, sensing something is off. Their unease grows, their whinnies echoing softly. Bayers yanks hard on his rein, catching Diaz completely by surprise. "Ow." Diaz turns to his steed, confused. "What is it, Bayers?" he asks, noticing all the horses are now restless. Bayers gives him an intense, knowing look. The horse seems determined to lead him somewhere. Diaz wonders, are they trying to lead me somewhere? Trusting their instincts, the group follows the horses deeper into the woods. They arrive at a large, uprooted tree. "Here, Bayers?" Diaz asks. "Some trees have collapsed, but I don't see anything strange." But the horses insist, sniffing intently around the base of the fallen tree. The twins exchange a curious glance. Intrigued, they rush over to investigate the area. Diaz watches them. "Is there something there? Do you need a hand?" Ahan calls back excitedly, "Hold on, we'll show you." A moment later, they present him with 2 large, perfectly round mushrooms. The instant he holds them, an incredible aroma hits him. "It smells really good." Diaz asks, "Could these be the mushrooms you were talking about yesterday?" Senai beams. "Yup, a rare and super yummy mushroom. They are actually very rare, but we found several of them here. This forest is amazing." Yumaru, ever the scholar, chimes in with a question. "Was it okay to dig out these mushrooms? Yesterday, you said we should wait until they grow some more." The twins explain that the mushrooms have a symbiotic relationship with the tree, but since this one is dead, the mushrooms can't reproduce anymore. Yumaru looks down at the fallen giant with a hint of sadness. "But this tree finished its life before winter came." Diaz listens, taking in the bittersweet discovery. Their moment is suddenly interrupted by a noise from the woods. 2 dogs come bounding towards them, barking urgently. "Diaz-sama, where are you? Aruna-sama is calling you." They deliver a strange message. The person with the shiny and clammy skin has returned with guests. Diaz immediately knows who they mean. Shiny and clammy skin, it would seem Paijin came to visit. Let's go back to the village. Back at the village, a bustling marketplace has sprung up. The frog-like merchant, Paijin Mi, is at the center of it all, surrounded by wagons and villagers. A large bear man is happily buying jerky. "Give me 2 bundles, I'll take it home and eat it with my wife." But not all customers are so easygoing. Ellie is in the middle of a heated negotiation. "Don't tell me that's all the preserved food you have," she yells. "I'm prepared to spend all my money here, so I expect my money's worth of goods to be on this table." She continues her demands, her voice carrying across the market. "Give me some rations that will be well preserved through the winter." Paijin Mi sweats profusely, struggling to write down her orders. "Oh, Akai, preserved food, understood, I understand, so please go a little bit slower." Ellie's patience is wearing thin. I know you're still not used to our language, but if you act like this, it's hard for us as well. She slams her hand on the table for emphasis. If you are a merchant, act like one, settle down and show some decorum while doing business. Having made her point, Ellie's demeanor shifts slightly. She pulls out a design sketch. And also, I want this stretchy black fabric, how much would it cost? Just then Diaz's group arrives on the scene. Diaz takes in the lively atmosphere. It seems very lively, it's Pajan's free market. Yumaru spots Ellie and immediately runs to help. I will go help Ellie. Diaz, please take care of Aisha's reins. The twins eagerly follow. We're going too. Diaz, take care of the horses. Left holding the reins for 4 horses, Diaz sighs. Oh boy, we also wanted to see the market. Well, let's head back to the stable. After tending to the horses, Diaz heads back to his and Aruna's yurt. He opens the flap calling out, Aruna, I'm back. But the yurt is empty. There's nobody here. Maybe she is at the Kamado stoves again. He heads over to the communal cooking area. He finds Aruna on a newly built platform. She's sitting and chatting with a group of elderly Oni women. He calls out to her and she turns with a smile. Diaz, so you were here. As he approaches, a large figure sitting with the women begins to stand. A tall, imposing fox person with a beaded necklace looks down at him. Their voice is deep and resonant. So you're the feudal lord who is going to accept the bloodless. The fox person introduces herself with an air of authority. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm from the fox folk tribe. My name is Kiko. I'm a council member from the country of Jujin. I came here today in order to see what kind of person you are. Diaz, slightly caught off guard, gives a polite but nervous introduction. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Diaz Mere Battle, the feudal lord of Mere Battle. Kiko's gaze is sharp and analytical as she sizes him up. She gets straight to the point, her voice laced with concern. Are you really going to accept the bloodless into your territory? Diaz recalls the term, bloodless. If I'm not wrong, bloodless are Jujin who have lost their beastman power. Kiko confirms, that's right. Her expression softens with a hint of sadness. I see, she says softly, they are helpless children who have lost their proud beast blood, but... In a sudden, profound gesture, Kiko bows deeply before Diaz. Please take care of them. Diaz is stunned, speechless at the weight of her plea. Kiko straightens up, her demeanor serious once more. I was worried, she confesses, about entrusting these helpless children to someone. They might be treated like slaves, especially if they were sent to a racist nobleman from Sans Serif. When the mistress heard about their immigration, she had such concerns, so I came to these lands ahead of those helpless children, but... Her gaze drifts towards the village platform. I can tell at a glance, Kiko says, a hint of relief in her voice. Diaz listens, waiting for her to finish. She gestures towards the scene of the elderly Oni women being gently cared for by the village's dog folk. What I see here speaks the truth of this land, she concludes with conviction, more than anything else. A quiet sense of pride settles on Diaz's face. Suddenly, the sound of frantic footsteps breaks the solemn atmosphere. Senai and Ahan burst onto the scene in a panic. Mushrooms, we forgot about the mushrooms. We need to prepare them or the good smell is gonna fade away. They rush past calling out, Aruna, help us with the preparation. Interrupting the official meeting, the twins present their mushrooms to Kiko, whose nose immediately twitches. Oh, these mushrooms smell really good. Even the mushrooms are different in a different country. They hold out their small basket as an offering.